right, good evening. It is 7 p.m. and we are going to get started with our regular meeting. We just came out of a closed session, so we are going to begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Thomas, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. The approval of the agenda is next. We did have one change to the agenda, and that is under item 1C2, the liability claim. That was an action item. It's listed as a non-action item. It is an action item. So with that change, Dr. Marshall, are there any other changes to the agenda?
No further changes.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the agenda as corrected.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda. I'll second.
We got a motion by Member Valadeo, seconded by Member Gattuso, to accept the agenda as corrected. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. Any members of the public that wishes to place an item on our agenda for a future agenda may do so by contacting the superintendent's office at least 2 weeks prior to a regularly scheduled meeting. If it's within our purview, it will be considered for a future agenda. Any member of the audience here tonight that would like to comment on any item on tonight's agenda may do so when that agenda item comes up before us. When that agenda item comes up before us, you approach the podium and you will be allowed to speak. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. If there are multiple public comments on that singular agenda, I can talk to it. I heard it's echoing in here. I don't know if anybody noticed. I'm hearing myself. On that single agenda item, it is limited to 20 minutes of public comment. If there is anybody here tonight that wishes to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda, you may do so in a second or two when I let you know that we're going to be starting that. You approach the podium, tell us your name, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. If there are multiple speakers on the same non-agenda item, you're limited to 20 minutes also. So with that, is there anybody here tonight that wishes to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda? Come on up, please. Good evening, and I should point out that under that monitor is a time clock, so go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board, and Dr. Marshall. My name is Dr. Dino Coronado. I'm a retired superintendent and current education consultant for the Educational Research Institute Grants Company. We're a full-service grant company, and I'm here actually to announce good news. So the great news is, one, you have a great district, and you have a great leadership team, and of course supported by all of you. There was a grant opportunity that we partnered with the district back about mid-summer last year. It was a lengthy process. Dr. Marshall gave some guidance. We partnered and applied for the grant. It was the Learning Communities for School Success Program grant. It's a competitive grant. Only 26 districts were awarded this grant in the state of California. Los Vanos was one of them. So at the tune of, that's applause. At the tune of $1.62 million.
Wow.
So this is great news for the students of the community in Los Vanos. And the district received the 8th highest award of all California school districts, and the only school district in the county that actually earned the award. So I want to thank you, the school board, Dr. Marshall, and all of his team for their partnership, their cooperation, and we look forward to continuing this partnership and also finding other competitive grants for the district to benefit the community, your kids, and with your support, I want to just thank you for what you do. I know you don't have an easy job, so thank you.
Thank you. We love great news. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good news is great news. Thank you very much. That was not good to hear. Anybody else who wishes to address the board tonight? Good evening.
Hi, good evening. My name is Evelyn Contreras. I have a son here present, Angel Arce. He goes to Los Baños High School. We've had a situation going on since January with an ex-girlfriend of his harassing him, destroying property of his during school hours. There's multiple incident reports about this with the police. This last Sunday, she came and egged our house, and I feel like the school has done nothing about it. She's gone, she's talked to several people at the school, and they tell her just stay away from him, don't talk to him. But she doesn't respect that at all. So I just feel like more needs to be done. I feel like if it would have been, a girl harassing or a guy harassing a girl, it'd be taking matters better. But I feel because it's a guy, things haven't been taken the seriousness that it is. And I feel it should be equal. And I really wish that the school would help me for this to stop. It's been going on for a while, and it's mentally exhausting. And for him, he's like, I don't want to come here. There's a lot of people. He's scared to talk. And it's just not okay for this to continue to go on. So I would like some help from the school to resolve the situation. You have anything to say, Angel?
Have you talked to the principal?
No, I haven't. I've emailed him one time. I've talked to Ms. Leyva. I've talked to the officer several times. One time I went out during my, I'm an RN here at the hospital. I went out during my lunch. She was scratching the car as I was driving by to the high school. I made a report right then and there. I couldn't stay because I was on lunch. I had just gone to pick him up, but nothing was done even about that. Nothing was addressed. They said, oh, it's a criminal matter, make a police report about it. They gave me that, yet nothing has been done about that either. And it's just continued to escalate from there, and it's very frustrating.
So I would suggest that you make an appointment with the principal and talk to him.
I've done that to the school, and they refer me to the learning director, to somebody else, and not the principal.
Okay, well, he's here tonight. He's heard your
Yes.
voice, so maybe you guys can connect and
Okay?
we'll see if that happens.
All right, and he's very frustrated. He's like, the school doesn't do anything about it. He said, what's the point of saying something? The school doesn't do anything about it.
Well,
So-
the
Okay.
typical process is to go to the learning director first, and then it goes escalated from there. Obviously, you haven't got,
I feel like I'm just going in circles,
Okay.
which is why I'm here tonight.
which I'm just giving you the option of, or the suggestion to go to the next level.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
hold on, Angel. You had a question?
Yes.
Yes, this harassment is continuing on school grounds
Yes, it's continuing on school grounds.
every day? How many
How
times
often?
during the week does this happen?
How many times during the week?
Like what actually goes next one?
Or telling your friends, or telling somebody, huh? Every day,
Every day?
yes.
Okay.
She was asking for his address this weekend. He's got screenshots of her asking for his address. Her and other friends of her, of just asking where he lives. I mean, I don't think that's any of, where we physically live. And then they come and egg the house, or they're saying that he's doing things, and, just it continues to go on, even when they've told her to stay away from him.
I see.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll look into that.
Thank you very much. Anybody else here tonight that wishes to address the board on a non-agenda item? Good evening.
Hi, good evening. My name is Margaret Bowman. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Charleston Elementary. I'm also a union member and on the executive board. I would just like to address the Los Banos Teachers Association, in representation of over 500 Los Banos teachers, would like to officially share our educational partner LCAP input. To our knowledge in the history of this process, LBTA has never been consulted.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is this public comment or is this an LBTA report?
This is a public comment. I'm just doing it. It's not an LBTA report at this time. No.
Okay.
No, it's just from me. All right. At this time, we'd like to share a significant locally identified priority for the consideration of your excellent LCAP team and our school board trustees. LBTA believes the lowering K-3 class sizes could offer several benefits for our most at-risk students, foster youth, students experiencing homelessness, English learners, socially, economically disadvantaged students, and students with disabilities. Indeed, LBTA 10's lower K-3 class sizes have the potential to benefit all of our Los Banos Unified School District students and their academic and social growth for years to come. LBTA recommends that the district implement K-3 classroom caps of 24 for kindergarten, 26 for grade 1, and 28 for grades 2 and 3 as part of its multi-tiered system of support framework. Our district has usable systems of metrics already in place to measure the beneficial impacts resulting from the implementation of a class size reduction LCAP goal. Benefits of a class size reduction plan include, but are not limited to, increased individual attention. Smaller class sizes allow teachers to provide more personalized attention to each student. Teachers can better identify and address individual learning needs, helping students who may struggle and academically and providing appropriate challenges for those who excel. Improved academic performance. Research suggests that smaller class sizes can lead to improved academic outcomes, particularly in subjects like reading and math. With fewer students to manage, teachers can implement more effective teaching strategies and devote more time to each student, leading to better understanding and retention of materials and reducing the number of required interventions in the future. Enhanced classroom environment. Smaller class sizes foster a more conducive learning environment. Students may feel more comfortable participating in discussions, asking questions, and seeking help when needed. This can contribute to a healthy, positive, and safe classroom culture and increase student engagement for all learners. Better behavior management. With fewer students in the classroom, teachers can devote more attention to managing behavior and fostering a positive classroom atmosphere. Smaller class sizes often result in fewer disruptions, discipline issues, and suspensions, allowing teachers to maintain focus on instruction and learning activities. Equity in education. Lowering class sizes can help address disparities in educational outcomes, providing all students with access to quality instruction and support. Smaller classes can be particularly beneficial for students from disadvantaged backgrounds who may require additional assistance to succeed academically. Teachers can more closely monitor individual students' well-being and create bonds that help improve relationships and school climate. Long-term benefits. Research suggests that the benefit of smaller class sizes extend beyond early childhood, elementary school, and can have lasting effects on students' academic achievement and success throughout their educational journey. Overall, lowering elementary class sizes can contribute to a more effective and equitable educational experience for all students, supporting their academic growth and development, and ultimately helping to decrease dropout rates.
Okay.
Respectfully,
your time.
thank you.
Oh, you got it. I gave you some extra time because I interrupted you.
All right, sorry.
So I do want to just make sure that everybody is aware that item is currently being bargained between the district and the association. So we have to be careful that we don't start bargaining in public, which
Okay,
could
this is
happen
just a
here. So we,
report for the LCAP. This is like a suggestion from the LCAP committee.
I understand, but I just want to make sure that we're staying in between the lines.
I'm not on the bargaining team.
Okay, I know you're not on the bargaining team, but it is currently an item that is being discussed at the bargaining table, so we can't make any comments tonight. Thank you. All right. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the board on any non-agenda item? It'd be, unless you did it individually, it's probably hard to do.
It's self-explanatory if you guys were to watch the video.
Okay, but I mean, it's hard for all 7 of us to see it at the same time. I mean, you could try to do it from there. So is this part of your comments?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll start the clock.
It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm pretty sure a lot of the people here already saw it on social media.
There looks like a fight going on, yes.
It's a fight. It's a very violent fight. It was not a two-person fight. It's only one aggressor in the fight. It's my daughter's friend. She was beaten viciously by another student, and the other student was only given 5 days of suspension and coming back. She's been diagnosed with traumatic stress. She's no longer going to be in school, and we're not getting any help from anybody.
Could you go to the mic, please? Thank you.
It seems like we're not getting anywhere with the school district. At this point, we're lost. We need help because I don't believe it's fair that my daughter and her friend have to. They're they're being disrupted from learning when there's other students that are going to waste their time. I don't believe violence should be tolerated at this point, especially from a student that it's not their first time doing this in the school district, and they're the ones suffering the consequences when the other student is only getting a slap in the hand and returning to the school in 5 days. I really need help. I need something to be done about this.
Have you talked to the principal?
This principal is handling this situation, which it's not getting us anywhere. The only thing they say is that it's the state of California rules, that there's only so much that can be done. And 5 days of suspension, it's a slap in the wrist. The student will go right back to the school and keep on doing the same thing. I need more to be done. There should be no violence tolerated at this point. And especially if you were to watch the video, I mean, it's only from one person doing the fighting. My daughter's friend did not even hit her back once.
We don't condone that activity at all, so,
Yes, I need help right away.
I'm going to ask you to make an appointment to see Dr. Horton. He's sitting right here in the front row. He's at the district office, so you may want to give him a call, and he can help you through the process.
Thank you.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah, this incident, it happened at school?
Yes, it did.
What school is that?
Pacheco High School.
Pacheco High School. Okay, is this a continuous, does it continue every week, the harassment?
There was an incident with the students about a week ago. Both my daughter and her friend were threatened about a week ago. So the school is aware. I've been at the school every other day because of this incident. There was supposed to be security being around them at all times.
So since then, it has escalated.
Yes, it got to this point where she was being.
I just saw that.
Yes.
I just saw that.
It's all over social media. It's just constant.
Okay.
It does
The
not
district
stop.
will do everything we can to help you. Mr. Horton is there, so we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else that wishes to address the board tonight? Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening,
I'm sitting in your
members of the
seat
board.
tonight.
It's kind of odd being on this side, but I'll get used to it.
I'll trade you tonight.
Yes, so for those that don't know me, yes, I am the mayor of the city of Las Vegas, but I'm not here in that capacity tonight. I'm here as a father. So I want to tell you a brief story about something that happened with my daughter, Mia. She's a senior at Las Vegas High School. She recently participated in the journalism program. And I want to preface this by saying that I wholeheartedly support the district, Las Vegas High School, and the journalism program. I think it's all, again, fantastic program, and I 100% support it. What I'm going to talk about is the F she received. And again, why did my daughter get an F? And so I thought, that's pretty interesting. That's unlike her. So I need to hold her accountable. She got an F because she refused to participate in selling ads for the West Side Express to fund the local newspaper in the school. And her answer to me was, Dad, they write all these horrible things about you in the newspaper, and I'm not going to support that. And so, again, I'm going to support my daughter wholeheartedly, and that's not the issue that I have here. The issue that I have is, according to Government Code 1090, a member of the school board who's receiving his primary ways of income working for the West Side Express probably should not be the one who's then selling advertisements and having high school seniors make money for him. I don't think that's actually ethical. I'm not sure if it's legal, but it's something that I want to bring attention to this board because, again, I'm going to wholeheartedly stand by my daughter. And again, if she deserved an F, she deserved an F. And her journalism teacher's been fantastic. She gave her another assignment to do. And again, so I'm glad it kind of worked out. But from an ethical standpoint, I have some issues with this, right? Why, as an elected official, something I know a lot about, you can't gain personal income. You can't make revenue off of the board in which you govern. And so that's my question tonight. I have emails that my daughter had stating the assignment was to sell ads for the West Side Express, the price of the ads ranging from $50 to $500 and things of that nature. So, and again, I'm here to ask these questions. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have of me.
Generally, we don't make comments. So that, you know, I'm not going to tell you you can't, but generally we don't make comments, but it's,
Just one comment.
go ahead.
So the short answer is that the paw print newspaper, that is the student newspaper for the high school, is self-supported. So the ads that are in the newspaper pay for the printing and the production of the paper. I don't receive a penny of any of the advertising that's in here, and all the advertising that's in this paper was sold by the students. The students are learning how to run a newspaper, and the printing and the cost of publishing a newspaper is part of the process of learning. So it was inserted into the West Side Express, as we insert lots of different publications, but I did not receive a penny of any of the advertising.
I think the issue is, why is the West Side Express even affiliated with this project?
So the answer to that is that newspapers across the country are partnering with schools to promote journalism, because journalism is important. Freedom of the press is important.
Even the ones owned by school board members?
Yes. So there are people that are in the community that hold lots of positions, specifically school board trustees. I don't know of any school board trustees that are doing it, but I'm not receiving any money from it. It's totally done to help support students learn journalism.
That'll be something for, I guess, you guys to decide. So again, I'm just here to bring forward the information, and what you do with it's your business. So any other questions for me? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else that wishes to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda? All right. Seeing none, we're going to go on to the student representative report. Welcome, Mariah.
Hi, thank you. I'm going to start with Los Banos High School. So, school news. Senior students at LBHS turned in their scholarship applications by February 23rd. There was a record number of 96 students who turned in applications this year. Donors have until April 12th to choose who will receive their scholarship. LBHS looks forward to celebrating our senior winners on May 15th at our scholarship awards ceremony. The Los Banos junior class is working hard to prepare for prom, which is April 13th. The theme is Enchanted Forest, and the event will be at the Cotton Tree Ranch. Tickets are $100 with ASB and $110 without. Class and ASB officer elections are now underway. Voting will begin in a few weeks. Sports news. Los Banos had a great showing at the state wrestling meet, where Larry Borelli, a 3-time state qualifier, finished in the top 12 and earned a prestigious CIF award for pursuing victory with honor. Brockton Borelli, a 2-time qualifier, earned an impressive second-place finish, the highest place at the state meet in the history of LBHS. Angelina Borelli earned enough points on her own to have LBHS finish 127th out of 235 teams. Our Winter Sports Awards took place on March 10th, where we recognized 197 student athletes. All spring sports are underway and are early in their seasons. FFA news. Los Banos FFA Sweetheart candidates raised over $40,000 selling FFA Sweetheart balloons. At the Sweetheart Banquet, it was announced that Harley McBride was the 2024 Los Banos FFA Sweetheart. Los Banos FFA had their FFA week February 20th through 23rd, where students were able to participate in many games and activities. Los Banos FFA's Best Informed Green Hand team placed first high team at LeGrand Field Day. Also, a huge congratulations to Avery Vieira, third high individual, and Addison Meldon, fourth high individual. And now, Pacheco's report. School news. ASB hosted their annual blood drive on March 4th, where there were a total of 68 donations that saved 204 lives. It was the best turnout at Pacheco since 2019. Counselors hosted the annual College and Career Fair, and we had over 40 representatives attend. The PHS Thespian Society is presenting The Addams Family for their spring musical. All shows will be in the theater. The dates are April 11th through 13th at 6 p.m. and April 14th at 2 p.m. Athletics. Pacheco boys soccer team advanced to the section semifinals after winning a league championship. Although they lost, the team also advanced to the NorCal regional tournament for the first time in school history. the team lost the heartbreaker to Justin Garza in penalty kicks. Spring sports have started with over 225 athletes participating in 7 different sports. Wrestlers Alexandra Loretto and Jaina Orosina reached the state tournament. FFA. March has been off to a fantastic start. Pacheco FFA started the month with the regional speech contest, where Thomas Price and Andrea Aguilar both competed in their respective contests. Andrea Aguilar placed second at regions and will be competing at state level. Our best-informed Greenhand team has been in top five at each contest they have competed in. Our Veggie Vet and Farm Power teams are all competing across the state in March and April. We have begun our elementary Ag Day season with over 50 students helping to coordinate 7 Ag Days in our district. Fair season is starting with 118 students signed up to exhibit their livestock projects at May Day Fair. Additionally, our Ag Wood, Ag Mechanics, and Floral students are working on their fair projects. Pacheco FFA was happy to participate once again in Valley Children's Kids Day and helped raise over $5,000. We were also able to sell tickets for the Honor Flight Dinner, which donated $3,000 to the program. We are looking forward to a great spring. And that's it. Thank you.
Great job, Maria. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item is California School Employees Report. Hello, Lisa.
Good evening. I know it's been a minute since I've been up here at this podium, and it's hard to believe that we're over halfway through another school year. I don't know about you, but I love learning interesting facts. So tonight, I wanted to share an interesting fact that we came across the last few weeks. In the summer of 2023, we had 21 classified employees take part in our Golden Handshake. I'm sure you've seen them all up here. They got their recognition. But did you know collectively those 21 people had over 453 years of experience? We are all so happy. When I say happy, I really mean jealous, but for them. But when that much experience leaves, it takes a moment to regroup. Classified employees do not have training periods. We are hired expecting to know the job and possess the skills to be successful at that job when hired. When you replace someone who has been in a position for 20 plus years, the job has morphed into this hybrid of its own, and its responsibilities are significantly different than when that position was originally created. So I wanted to give a big shout out to all of the promotional classified employees who had stepped in to these pretty big shoes, and they're just killing it. We've had a great turnout, and I think all of our promotions are doing wonderful. Now let's talk about some transportation. Or should I say transportation and our bus drivers, or maybe I should say lack of bus drivers. In 2021, we had 24 drivers. This didn't include dispatch and mechanics or subs. Today, we have 16 drivers and 16 routes. This means that we have children waiting longer for bus pickup, no one being able to take off time, and weekday field trips are almost non-existent. Our mechanics and dispatcher are driving daily, and I'm thinking even our manager is. And the last 2 months, we have spent over $30,000 in charters. And we have 7 drivers who've been working an extra 2 hours daily doing kinder runs since July. Dos Palos, Gustine, Newman, Atwater, Merced, Patterson, and Modesto all have changed their drivers to 8-hour shifts. No one wants to drive for a 6-hour contract when they can just go down the road and get an 8-hour contract. We even offered a $5,000 signing bonus to try to get drivers, and I think we got one. I'm perplexed and wondering what will happen next year when the drivers we have leave for our neighboring towns. How will the students get to school? Just last week, we had to have a secretary leave her job, take one of our white fleet, and go pick up students because there was no buses for them to get to town. Once again, a classified employee goes over and above their scope of duty. When I asked her why she did it, she said because helping students is always the right thing to do. She is 100% correct. But now it's time for the district to do the right thing and change these contracts back to 8 hours. And yes, I said back, because our district originally had 8-hour drivers or 8-hour contracts. And if we do not go back to that, I can guarantee you our driver shortage is going to get worse. And the driver shortage is not just in Los Banos. It is all over the state of California. Chapter 92 and the district are in the middle of negotiations. I believe negotiations are an essential process of ensuring the needs of our students and staff alike are met. Both are essential for the success of this district. I'm confident that although we are miles apart in some of this process, with an open dialect, honesty, and mutual respect, we will be able to reach an agreement. I'm going to end my report this evening with the words of Jane Goodall. Each and every one of us can make a difference. We just have to decide what difference we want to make. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Before we go to the next item here, Mr. De La Cruz? Yes, sir. Could you turn on the air conditioner behind you or the air or something? There's a lot of people and I see everybody fanning themselves back there, so thank you. All right, next is thank you very much. So Los Banos Teachers Association.
I cranked it down.
Thank you, appreciate it, thank you. Welcome, Jen.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I just handed out something. I was going to hand it out in the middle, but I figured this is a little more efficient. Good evening, school board trustees. Those of you who have children or grandchildren, I want you to think back for just a minute. If you were lucky enough to be able to host a birthday party for your child or grandchild, how many kids would you invite? How many adults would be there to help you supervise? I'd say an average for a drop-off party of 5 to 9-year-olds, which not many drop-off parties for 5-year-olds actually happen, would be about 7 to maybe 11 kids, with a minimum of 2 adults there to help supervise. Does that sound about right? How long do you think that party would last? 2-3 hours? Now keep thinking while you look at that copy of our district enrollment report. I'm sure you've already reviewed this because it comes to you every week, but I'd like to share a couple of things with you. We currently have class sizes that range from 17 to 31, and that's pretty much the same at all of the grade levels, K-3. Now think back to those birthday parties. With a limited number of kids and adults, how exhausted were you at the end of that party? Now put that lens on our class sizes. Could you have done a birthday party for 31 kids with no help? For 3 hours? 2? Imagine doing it every day for 6 hours. Then you have to talk to all of the parents of the kids who were just dropped off at your door and tell them what amazing things their kids did during that day and what they could do better at the party that they went to next week. That's what we do every day. Recently, LBTA took a survey of our kindergarten through 3rd grade teachers regarding class size. 2/3 of the teachers believe that class size in these grades should be at 24 students or below, which is completely doable in our district. Those who believe that class sizes can be effective with larger numbers said so with the caveat that more in-class supports are needed. At most of our school sites, these supports are very limited, especially at 2nd and 3rd grade, if they even have them. Here are the questions that we asked and a few of the answers that were shared. This is not by any means an exhaustive list. I have several pages here. I'm going to pick through some of them because I don't want to be up here all night, and I know you guys have a long agenda. The first question was, do you believe having a lower class size cap would benefit your students? And please explain your answer because we're teachers and we want reasons. For the past 3 years, I have had 31 kindergarten students in my class. This is the first year I have a more manageable number of students. I was able to start my centers sooner in the year, September, because I have 2 less groups of students working independently while I'm pulling a group of students and my aide pulls a group. My aide is able to work with a small group of students and I can pull my reading groups during centers. With the small class size, I'm able to focus on each student's needs daily. Students are receiving small group instruction daily with smaller class sizes. Each child is seen and heard daily in smaller class sizes. The next one says, definitely, it would make it easier for everyone to share in a whole class discussion. When doing a shared writing, everyone would be able to come up to the front and write on the chart paper on a daily basis. Everyone would be able to do a guided reading group. The students would have more room to move around freely in the classroom while working on centers. Another one says, yes, 31 students is too hard to manage even for a veteran teacher. When you have little ones, so many of them have academic, emotional, and social needs. The difference between when I only had 24 for the day versus 31 is drastic. I naturally am able to do more teaching with less students in the room. On top of that, only kindergarten teachers have full day aides, and that's not even true at every site. Teachers are not getting the support they need with 31 students. When I taught back when 20 in a class was the norm. I see a big difference in all areas academically. Students were better readers, writers, spellers, thinkers, and they could do grade level math. Their penmanship was better. Their behavior was better. Teachers were able to spend more time with students to help academically, socially, emotionally. Today, it's so hard to build a relationship with the students because there is not enough time to share with all of the students. Students are lacking in all of the above because we're spending most of the time managing 31 students. They are not coming into their grade level prepared. I lost 2 students recently from my roster, and with 23 students, I feel I can actually talk to everyone daily. I can analyze data and see what my next steps are going to be versus running out of time and not being able to get through their work and seeing my next steps. That's our main job. Class disruptions are minimal. Class discussions are better since more of the whole class gets to be heard. Lower class sizes will help keep the new generation teaching. I can see this generation of teachers walking away from teaching within 3 to 5 years if things stay the same. They will not put themselves through the stress that us veteran teachers have gone through. We cannot prepare the students for the next grade when we have 31 needy kids that we can't get to on a daily basis. This has been happening since class size reduction went away. By the time we get them caught up, the year's over and we're back to square one the following year. If the district can't see the difference in their own kids' performances versus kids now, something is wrong. I have work samples from my own kids to prove what I'm saying. 20 in a classroom at the K-3 level is crucial to our children's future. The second question was, what challenges do your students face when class sizes are too large? One of the things that they didn't include was we have had several kindergarten students who started the year not potty trained and several other things. So those are also happening in our kindergarten and our K-3 classes. Many students are overwhelmed by the enormous class sizes. They are unable to form a close community within their class because there are too many students. Many students do not know the names of their peers. Many are coming to school with developmental delays, social delays, and/or behavior challenges. These students are not getting all their needs met in large class sizes. Many students are not given the one-to-one attention they deserve because the teachers are spread too thin. Fewer students in the classroom equates to less anxiety. Often our kindergarten students are bursting out, and the recommendation is almost always a smaller class size. If we want to be successful in mainstreaming students, then class sizes must be lower. Even in the general population, students' behavior is a direct reflection of large class sizes. We have spent more time on behavior since we went from 20 to 31 students. This means less teaching time and one-on-one contact. It is imperative that we have one-on-one time in the development of kindergarten students. Students face challenges such as not receiving the proper teaching they deserve. We have many people who talk about how the large class sizes are overwhelming for our students. They're coming in and they have major anxiety. Being in a noisy environment with 30 other students isn't good for their learning, and so we're spending time regulating behaviors and teaching them to regulate their behaviors, which is something we definitely need to do, but it takes away from what we're doing with our teaching and our reading and our writing. And the last question we asked them, are there any other concerns, questions that you would like to share? Since the pandemic, we have had a rise in low-performing students in academics and a lack of social emotional development. Having a lower student-to-teacher ratio could be the one solution intervention to help our students succeed. I'm just kind of picking through because I know this is long. I have had a class that was smaller in size. That year I was able to go more in depth with subjects and lessons. I feel that we were able to explore more topics and subjects because with fewer students, I was able to meet their needs in less time than larger classes. Classes that have more students, I feel like I'm spending more time meeting needs because more students need help. It is incredibly unfair that some teachers have a class with less than 20 students, while I have 31 every year. The amount of time spent grading, doing assessments, report cards, and the like is not evenly divided among teachers in the district working on the same pay schedule. And if you look at our enrollment reports, you'll see that we have kindergarten classes at 17 at some sites, which is amazing and where everyone should be, and other sites where they're at 31. That is not the same job. That's not the same job. Take this data as you will. If you would like to see even more responses, I've got several pages. So please reach out and let me know. But please listen to the people who are in there doing that work every day. And think about that birthday party. How many kids were you able to handle there?
Thank you, Jen. All right, next item is our facilities report. Facilities is next. Good evening.
Good evening, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Marshall, cabinet members. My name is Stephen Ruiz. I am the new supervisor of maintenance and operations for Los Banos Unified. Been in this position almost 6 months now. Sherry couldn't be here today, so I'm just going to do a kind of a maintenance department, what projects we've done, and then just a small update that Sherry shared with me. So on top of our maintenance projects, we had a couple larger projects. One was for Charleston Elementary. We added a secondary well. This was to assist with the pressure loss with the current well we have is currently there. A little bit of the background from the site, I guess it's kind of normal that the pressure drops. So to kind of help with this, we added the secondary well. So it'll cycle between, alternate between wells. So when one well loses pressure, the other one will kick on. So we had an estimated cost of $50,000 for this project. The installation had kind of occurred over Thanksgiving break. We try to minimize student activity around there. And all the work was done by an outside vendor, Los Paul as well. Another large project that we actually have scheduled for summertime is the installation of 3 new playgrounds. Estimated cost for this is about $427,000. One playground will be installed at Charleston Elementary, another one at Henry Miller Elementary, and the third at REM Miano. Scheduled to be done over summer break, completed by an outside vendor. So maintenance, we take care of everything, carpentry, locksmith, plumbing, HVAC, electrical. Besides a couple of the standard, work orders and repairs, we have some special requests that came in since I've been here. The central kitchen, we remodeled their office, kind of expanded their office a little bit. We added security gates with the video door station at San Luis and Mercy Springs preschool. So not just anybody can walk on the campus. They have to press the button. It'll show a video of the person, and then they can speak with somebody in the office. Safety for the students. And at Grasslands, I was notified that parents were kind of walking into the office, and then they had access to the rest of the staff lounge and kind of the campus. So what we did was we installed some key fob access to the doors. So now you have to have a special key fob to gain access. So now, not just anybody can walk back there. In the plumbing department, we had a couple major leaks. One was at Grasslands. We replaced a underground gas shutoff valve that was leaking. So we repaired that. Another one was a gas leak at Los Banos High School. It was above the science wing. So we addressed that. And then we had a water leak at MSE under the kindergarten building. So as far as HVAC, with the installation of UV lighting and carbon filters that have been installed, we have also replaced new units. Mercy Springs Preschool had an older unit, so we replaced it to a newer unit, and Miano and Charleston. So we're kind of phasing out the older units to new higher, more efficient units. As far as when electrical projects, we added a new 240 circuit for a copy machine in their admin building, and then Pacheco High School with the wind a couple weeks ago, it knocked down a couple of the light posts in the parking lot. Found out that there's a couple other ones that are pretty rusted, so we purchased some new ones, and we're going to actually be installing over spring break. So, just a couple pictures, other fallen trees at Miano that we cleaned up. There's the gas line repair at Grasslands. We also installed kind of a concrete pad for dumpsters at Westside Elementary. Some photos of the cafeteria expansion. We've also had a lot of irrigation mainline breaks. Excuse me. Pacheco High was one of them, and then we had an issue at Los Banos High School in the multipurpose room with the large partition door, partition wall. So we got that repaired and addressed. A couple other projects we had going on since I've been here. Added a new water filling station at REM. And there's a water line from Mercy Springs, and there's a picture of the security gates and camera at the preschool at Mercy Springs. There was an issue with the playground at Charleston. A piece of equipment kind of posed a hazard to students, so we removed it. Also at Henry Miller, we had some swings and other stuff that were posed a hazard to students, so we removed those. Also at Henry Miller, we had some damaged concrete steps leading to some student restrooms, so we addressed that along with other safety issues, trip hazards in the asphalts. And then Volta got a new ramp to their student restrooms. And this is from Sherry, so this is her facilities project update. The Tiger Gym re-roof started Wednesday, March 13th. The expected completion date is April 5th. The Los Banos Elementary School parking lot, the contractor took delivery of the underground drainage system on site, and they actually started work Monday, March 11th. Also, at the Los Banos Elementary parking lot, the fuel tanks, they got removed. Work started this past Monday, and they actually completed it today. So those fuel tanks are gone, yes. The Early Education Center, CEQA was approved, and the modular building bid is on the agenda. So the next step is for DSA submittal. FOT, the EV PV solar structure is 100% complete. Electrical and charging stations are at 25%. And at the Lofton Stadium, due to the weather delays and revised completion, the revised completion date is April 26th. Then the turf contractor needs 30 days. So we've been in contact with Mr. Walton as far as making arrangements for graduation. So that is all I have for the facilities report and maintenance projects. Kind of honored to be here with Los Banos Unified School District. So
Thank you very much.
So thank you.
One comment. Mr. Ruiz has been at the district for 6 months, and he and his crew are working day and night very hard to keep our facilities clean and safe for our students. And I just really appreciate what he does and his crew does for our school district. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ruiz.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Marshall, your report.
Okay, first I want to start with the board president's comment about not negotiating in public. That is, the class size item is being negotiated. Now, one thing I want to talk about this is that I want to go kind of give a little history. As far as the class size reduction program in California. Years ago, California gave extra resources to districts for smaller class sizes. And we still get that money to this day. Now, a decision was made a few years ago where the class sizes were foregone for compensation. And that arrangement still exists to this day. So I really wanted to put that out there because, these meetings are televised, so if we're going to tell a story, the whole story needs to be told. We do get class size reduction money. It's just going towards compensation. So I want to make sure that that's pretty much out there. So Again, like I said, I shouldn't be talking about this. It's like almost surface negotiating. But it's imperative that when information out there, because I do get questions about class sizes and what happened with CSR. So it's important that the public knows that we do get that funding and that there's an agreement out there to where it goes somewhere else. So I want to just put that out there first. Now, shifting the conversation on another note, I want to first thank the community. We had a community event at Pacheco High School. It was about food services. Very successful event. I mean, it was nice to see. We had lots of people there. Basically, it was nice to see the students there, families, kids to come out, and they got a good, delicious meal on us. The feedback we got was excellent, and we'll be doing more of that. And that was people were asking, are we going to do this again? And yes, we will. I want to thank Dr. Coronado for coming out and talking to us about that grant we received for socio-emotional supports for our students. That's $1.6 million that will go to serve our students, and we're excited about that. I'm very fortunate. I have a very good team as far as people that work with me, and when they apply for these grants, they generally get them. So I'm looking forward to when the community schools grant information comes in. I think we'll be successful there as well, and that's pretty significant. So I want to say that. Thanks to the teachers who invited me to the classrooms as part of the Read Across America Week. I especially enjoyed the sixth grade students at Grasslands. After the reading assignment, I got to talk with some of them. And what was interesting, we talked about what you like about the school. They love Grasslands, by the way, and but they want a swing and some monkey bars. That came out. But the other thing that they were appreciative of is that they were going to junior high next year. They'll be going to Los Banos Junior High. They're very excited about that. And they like the fact they'll go to Pacheco after. So like this whole neighborhood feeder pattern, they love that. But I got a question I'm going to share with Mr. Moran, because I promised the young man that I would do this. When are you going to get a college in that neighborhood? So I told him I'll ask you that you're the dean, and I would ask when he would do that. His name is, just try to reach out to him. I like the every 15 minutes assembly at Los Banos High School was very evident. There was a lot of planning that went into the event, and I can say this. I mean, they were there for about it was over an hour, but the students were attentive, and I think that they really got the message. So I think it was worth. You just saw the effort that was put in into the event. That's real good. Finally, I want to, it was nice to see the parents and staff members. I did go to some of the LCAP planning sessions. And what really stood out is that the parents recognize a lot of the great things that we've been trying to do for students over the last few years. And one family, this question stands out. What they wanted to know, they were talking about STEM, the STEM program. And so the question was, okay, well, we have STEM at some sites. Why can't we have the STEM program at the other sites? So it's good. I mean, it shows that people do appreciate some of the things that we do for our families. So it's good to see that we're making that difference. So that concludes my report for tonight.
All right, thank you, Dr. Marshall. Board member reports. Let's see. We'll start with Ms. Valadeo.
Oh, I get to be first for a change. I look out here and I see a lot of young adults, and I'm going to speak for the board because I know they would say this too, we are so proud of all the things you accomplish in our schools. You are the future of the world, and I know you are going to go out and do great things. And I hope that at some point you come back to Los Banos to become our future leaders, because I'm excited to see what you guys do, and we are just so proud of your accomplishment. Thank you. That's my report.
And she did speak for all of us, by the way.
Yeah.
Ms. Moran.
I was going to say it's so hard to follow on that, but you know that we all feel that. So thank you for being here today. I have a few shout outs. Definitely want to thank again Mr. Walsh. If you remember probably from last year, we mentioned that some of us were doing some readings with the class. So it has been an amazing journey. I feel like now these students are like my little brothers and sisters that I see and run into town. They wrote some wonderful, cute thank you notes that as I'm reading it, words of you made me feel included, you made me think, you were really nice, which was odd. I was like, oh gosh, I hope they received me quite well. But just some words of appreciation, and it made me realize, like, as an adult, right, how we often don't do that. And so just thank you, and thank you for Principal Brazil as well for opening the doors to junior high. So that was a junior high that I went to. So it's really interesting to be in the same classroom that I took history myself. So it was a nice full circle. So yeah, come back and serve in your community. I did. I went off to school, for those of you that know, off at UC Berkeley, and I decided the city was great. It's great to visit, but my heart is in the valley. So here I am. It's a full circle for me, so I love it. Another shout out is Miss Machado over at Grasslands. We had a great communication about financial literacy and what goes on in the classrooms when I went to go read. That was the same day that I then got a call from Dr. Marshall about the inquisitive student, and so I opened my doors to come and present on behalf of the college and speak to students about college and whatnot. That's what I love to do, and yeah, we'll work on that, right, Dr. Horton? We were just having some wonderful conversations about how we could streamline pathways for students from LBUSD to college and beyond, right? So yeah, we definitely are there and communicating. So be happy to speak to the students. My last plug is we do LBUSD in collaboration with like also DOS Palace, the Adult Ed, which Mr. Mias from LBUSD serves. It has been putting on, and Merced College has been putting out a lot of time and effort into an upcoming job and resource fair. So Pacheco and Los Banos high school students will be going over, but it's also open for the community at large. So they are doing on-spot hiring, particularly those that are high school seniors, right? So as they're going off to college, get that resource. And then also, even if they wanted some on-spot job opportunities, it's on April 11th, and it's over at the fairgrounds 9 till 1. So now I'm putting Mr. Mias on the spot, but if you would like more information, reach out to him. He's your representative for the district. So thank you.
All right. So before we go on to the next person, one of the things that we have a lot of students leaving, but in case students didn't know, Ms. Moran is the dean of Los Banos campus of Merced College. So when she's saying that she can talk about what's happening at Merced College, she knows what she's talking about. So you bet. Ms. Gattuso.
And she is an award winner for Women Leading the Way. So congratulations to her. We all did reading in probably 10 classes, I would say, at least, all of us. And I love every minute. I know the others love it. It's absolutely a blast to see from kindergarten to sixth grade, and just the different, the way they interact with you. So it's been great. I think what I really wanted to talk about, though, is a couple of things. One, I saw Jordan Toma at the junior high. He's a motivational speaker, and his thing is, I'm just a kid with an IEP. And it just resonates with me. I'm gonna get a little choked up, because I have a granddaughter who has an IEP, and it was a great, he was just a really great speaker for the kids, and to show them that just to persevere, you can do it, you can make it, and look at him. And so I loved that he was here for the kids, and I think he was out with the kids at lunch and talking to them, gave them free books, T-shirts, bracelets. It was just really great. So if you ever want to see him, jump on Instagram, TikTok, he's on there. He's got a ton of videos, and he's got a bunch of videos on Los Banos since he was at our school. So another thing that I hadn't attended last year, so I didn't even know about it, was the Henry Miller Living History, which was so very, very cool to see the kids. They were dressed as whichever person they were representing, and then you walked up to them, you pushed a button, and then they told you all about who they were. And it was just pretty amazing because this one girl, she was dressed in a suit, and nobody was in front of her. And so I walked up to her and pressed her button, and she happened to be Walt Disney. And if any of you know me, I'm a total Disney fanatic, and that was the first student that I pushed the button. And to hear her tell me all the facts about Walt Disney, which, you know, I knew, and it was like, oh, check, she got that one right, check, she got that one right. So it was just really fun to see that and to hear the students and talk about their person that they were, and it just exciting time for them. So I appreciated attending that as well. I just have one more shout out then is, you know, I don't know if you know, but Dr. Marshall again got another award, Superintendent of the Year from the California Association of African American Superintendents and Administrators. And I think that's his third one this year, so. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lieb.
Yes, a few things. So I too read at many of the second grade classes at Grasslands. I took my 1934 Royal manual typewriter into the class and I read the book Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. The kids loved to read the book and hear a typewriter at the same time. So I'm all about visual aids. It was excellent. I did attend the community cafe, learned a lot about why and how we feed our children, what we feed them. I had no idea. All the state mandates on what they have to eat. The whole wheat crusted pizza was my favorite, so with a low sodium pepperoni. So it was actually very good. So I definitely could take some of that. Yeah. And low fat cheese. Yeah, very good.
And it was good.
A big shout out to Pacheco High School senior Elizabeth Gonzalez. She's one of student who's going to be competing Saturday morning at the Merced College office, or Merced Office of Education, Merced County Office of Education, sorry, with many other students for the Rotary District speech contest that has students from Galt to Madera. So good luck for her. I hope I'll be there, and I want to really hope she wins. She represents Los Banos well. I was at the State Assembly member Esmeralda Soria's recognition for 15 women, one of which is our own. And so I shot photos of that and got to see that firsthand. It was really impressive. So thank you. Shout out to Carlos Campos for his 4x4x48 challenge. I went out there and I watched him start running every 4 hours, 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Finished Sunday morning. I don't know how he did that. It's crazy. All for raising money for scholarships. So definitely above and beyond, which is just one example of many, many teachers that go above and beyond. I was at the Jordan Toma. I was at the anti-bullying assembly at Los Banos High. There's an anti-bullying assembly taking place at Creekside coming up. So that was very inspirational, and they brought in a lot of speakers to help the students understand what anti-bullying is all about. I too was at the Henry Miller Elementary Living Wax Museum. And lastly, I attended the Every 15 Minutes at Los Banos High and was impressed with the helicopter that landed on 11th Street. And a lot of work goes into that every single time you guys do that, but I think it makes a huge difference. So thank you for all the work that's involved in that. So thanks. And that's it.
All right. Mr. Munoz.
Yes. Okay. I really love being around the district and visiting all the classes every chance I can get. Every invitation I receive. FFA Sweetheart Banquet I attended. I attend that every year, and really nice. It's a nice performance. It was a nice setup. I really congratulate Mr. Woltman for a nice event. Henry Miller. Went over to Henry Miller to see the 6th grade science fair. I was really impressed with that, with the kids, how they work together with each other. I think there's 2 to 3 in each group. And I went to each display, and I had them explain what they were doing. And I was really impressed on how they would go about getting their materials, working together, and making this thing work. How you can, put a piece of bread in the refrigerator and a piece of bread outside of the refrigerator, and which one molds first. And I also saw a lot of working with bananas and all types of fruit. Really interesting. Lorena Velasco, I'd like to thank Mrs. Jamie King for reading. Okay, I read 2 classes back to back. And it was very nice. I had a really good time with first and second graders. Okay, and then also the annual recognition appreciation luncheon from Mr. Stuart McCullough. Really enjoyed that every year. Last year I didn't make it, but it's a nice luncheon, and we really appreciate what he does. Los Banos High School, every 15-minute program. I attended that with my girlfriend, okay? And right at the beginning, okay, right when it first started, okay, the girls started screaming because they were in an accident, and I really felt it in my chest. I really, really felt it. So I know the word got out. I know how these kids felt, and it was a really good program. And again, the helicopter ride, that was really something to see. Really had a good time on that one. The community cafe I attended. Child nutrition services from Steve Bogman. San Joaquin Valley Purchases Co-op from Danielle Johnson, I believe. And then we have Director of Student Health Services from Andrew Gwynn. Gwynn, right? Yes. Right. Okay. And Mike, I had one question, okay, at the cafe, and I went to both of them, Mr. Gwynn and Bogman. And I asked about the lunches on the field trips. I go, what are they like now? I mean, what have we done to improve? And they told me that they improved the lunches and that they went to a certain extent. So I asked them, can I receive one of these lunches? And sure, Mr. Munoz, yeah, we can get you a lunch. When would you like to come by? How about tomorrow? It was quiet. Boy, this guy's fast. It came from you. Okay, but anyway, I got a lunch the next day. I went over to their office, and yeah, they were right. They really picked it up. Nutritious drinks, sandwiches, and fruit. There's what is it? I'm losing the word on this one. There's a standard that they have to meet from the state. And I went over to their office, and they showed me documentation, and they also sent me the documentation on email. So I have that, and I'm looking it over. Okay, Los Banos Parks and Recs. I'm on the commission with Los Banos Parks and Recs, and I attended the 37th Annual Arbor Day at Talbot Park. It was a nice event. I helped plant the first tree. I didn't like what happened to my shoes, but hey, yeah, it goes with the territory. And then again, here, celebrity readers at Grasslands Elementary. I'd like to thank Sarah Nunez, reading to 2 6th grade classes. A tough audience, just to keep them interested. That was one of my biggest challenges. Thank you, that's it.
All right, thank you. Ms. Smith?
Okay, I'll keep it short. I see a lot of helicopters come in and out of Memorial Hospital Los Banos on a helipad, but when the helicopter came in from the high school scene, it was really heart touching. It was pretty tearful because it was painting a story of a motor vehicle accident where there's a substance involved and kids were harmed and families were devastated. And to be honest, I hear or see an ambulance or helicopter on a daily basis, and I always say something special in my heart for that family because someone's in trouble. And when I saw that helicopter come in, at first I heard from my office, I thought, oh, here they come. So I went outside and I took a look. It was pretty touching. That's an amazing show of what substance abuse can do for our students. I'd like to see that done more often. It was really touching. The hospital staff also felt the same way. The only other thing I did was I built leprechaun traps this week. I worked on a few, worked on paper mache and putting the little green paper roll balls on this little cap and put gold and rainbows around it, and had to find a way for the leprechaun to jump in the trap and not get out. So that was the last few days that I worked on that with my granddaughters. And then the other thing I've done this month was Arbor Day. I love trees, I love nature, I love outside. I was out there in the rain. It just felt really good. If you know anything about most people of color, we're not really fond of a whole lot of rain, but it was nice. It was very nice. I enjoyed it. My little friend from church, he wrote a speech and he got a tree, and he chose a oak tree. And his dad said, could you have gotten a smaller tree? And I said, you told him to pick an oak tree. But now the oak tree is planted, and they had to find a space for it, but they're expecting big things from that tree that he won out there that day. And I just want to say, Jessica, congratulations. I saw you in the paper. Big shout out to you and women all over the world. Beautiful to see women of color and women of your stature out there in the paper like that. And it's just beautiful. And everybody else, the students in this district are great. I have to compliment on all the students because I think all the students in this district do so well. I'm on Pacheco's campus almost every day. And what's amazing to me is after school is out, there's a lot of students on the campus still participating in sports and whatever else they do after school. I get the picture that students in this town love their schools, They spend a lot of time on these campuses. And it's nice to have these campuses where kids, they're still open with sports because it gives them somewhere to go. Because Los Banos is kind of limited on things to do after school hours. But the kids here seem to be very much involved in their school activities. And it's really nice to see that. I spent a little time at the track meet and a little bit of time at the softball game and travel volleyball and just kind of doing the grandma run. Other than that, I had a busy week at work for the whole month. We're under some construction work going on over there, so I wasn't able to get out and do a lot of reading like I like to. It seems like every time I got ready to go, somebody needed something from me, so hopefully things will get better at me and I can get out and meet some teachers and get into some classrooms before the end of the school year. And everybody else have a great time. And Easter's coming, so enjoy Easter and spring break and all that wonderful stuff that comes along with leprechauns. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm going to make my report as brief as possible. I'm just going to say ditto, except for the leprechaun thing. And then, because basically what they said, I did. So, going on to new business, Pacheco High School FFA. Welcome.
Good evening, board. Good evening, everyone. I am Ruben Canchola.
We need you to come up to the microphone. Thank you.
I am Ruben Canchola, and beside me are my peers.
My name is Kata Barasa.
My name is Erica Iniguez.
My name is Kaylee Betancourt.
My name is Nathan Montes.
And with us as well, we have our wonderful advisors, Ms. Cousins and Ms. Bronkin. And today we are here to present to you guys about our improvements at our school farm as well as our additions. So, what our barn looked like in the past, it was not very welcoming. It was very rough, rugged from the outside. We didn't have a nice patch of grass or really just wasn't a nice ambiance.
You broke it.
Oh, no. All right. So the changes we are seeing, so like I said, we didn't have like a nice landscaping, so we have been working on that, as well as renovating the inside and the outside of our school farm. So to start off, we got a new area for our cattle and heifers. This is a great way to try to make sure that our animals are much more comfortable in the environments that they're in, such as it brought down the anxiety of our sheep and goats with them not being so afraid of those big animals next to them because the cows shared the same barn as the sheep and goats. So, but now with the 41 students wanting to show goats this year, there was no space for the heifers in the barn. So we had to resort to another solution, which was getting our cattle barn outside. So now the cows are in a much better, a much more comfortable environment and habitat for them. Then we have our wash racks. Kaylee, how do we use our wash racks?
So we as fair exhibitors and livestock.
Come on up to the microphone. The reason we have you at the microphone is that the people that are at home can't hear you, so unless you're at the mic.
So we as livestock exhibitors, we have to use our wash rack in order to keep our projects clean and healthy leading up to the days of fair. So us exhibitors, we use our wash rack almost daily in order to keep our projects in good condition leading up to the days of the fair. Thank you.
Just to go in on that, our students did all of this, so you could see that Mr. Brigham's ag mechanics students helped weld the gates to help divide up the sections for it, and then you have Ms. Bronkin's farm management students putting it together and making sure that we're able to have a safe facility for that. Okay, then our landscaping. So like I said, in the picture on the left side of the screen, you can see that it was not the prettiest of pictures out there. But now we have, our students have been at work putting in grass and plants in our planter bed, which gives the barn a much more welcoming feel and encourages students to get out there and be proud of their school farm and the FAY organization. Then we have the pig barn renovation. Nathan, how did we work on renovating our pig barn?
So as a swine exhibitor, it's like a great thing that we have added to our barn. It's a great benefit for us by our swines can have a better mobility there, be in a better environment, and then have like better hogs and everything. Keep them in a better environment right there.
So going in on that as well, we put in the mats. You can see the black mats. Those help with their hooves so that they don't have sore shanks, if I remember. Yes, so it basically just helps them with their mobility when we go to show at the fair. That way they can walk around and they're not limping or just don't have any issues with their hooves. Then we have our sheep and goat treadmills. Erica, how do we use these?
Okay, so I myself, as a goat exhibitor, use our treadmill on a daily basis to help build muscle and better prepare our animals for fair. That way they look proper, clean, crisp, nice to get their cardio in for the day as well. Overall, this is a great improvement that we got last year that helps improve placings at fair overall.
Yes, so like she said, so like Erica said,
it's okay.
So like Erica said, this is just one of these uses of technology that we provide to our students so that they can raise that best product for the fair. And then we have our sheep and goat hot walkers. So the sheep and goat hot walker, this is probably one of the best tools that we provide our students with, as well being exhibitor for sheep, that it's a very handy tool because when you can't get that animal to walk for you for the life of it, it comes in hand to get that, keeping that head up and getting ready for the show arena. And then we have our new show arena. So you can see that the picture on the left side of the screen, that is our new one. It is basically like a carport cover. We use this as our mock arena for our pre-fair, and it's a great way to save time versus having to use one and fitting all the species one after the other. It's very time consuming. So with the new arena, it helps us to get through pre-fair much faster. And it has a lot of other uses, such as storing hay when it's storming and our tractor for when it's hot out. Kaden, what are other uses we use our tractor for and our school farm?
So our tractor is very well used, especially in a school barn. As a member of the farm power team, we use our tractor very often. We're actually using some open area on the left-hand side of our school barn to practice our trailer or to practice driving with our trailer for this upcoming farm power meet this Saturday. And it's really just a great way to get some well-used space and keep the tractor out of the rain for that rainy season. And then our changes in progress. So Ms. Bronkin and her students for the following school year will be getting a lot of new tools and resources. We will be looking at a new classroom for animal science and farm management, restrooms and facilities for students while they're at the barn, or while they're at the barn during school time, and then a greenhouse that will help as a learning resource for animal science and farm management. These are all tools that we are using and we use to our fullest potential to help make sure that our students leave with those, with that knowledge that helps to push them into the agriculture industry. So following that, we have a lot of activities coming up, such as pre-fair. We are about two and a half weeks away from pre-fair, which is a great way for our students to practice their showmanship and getting ready for the May Day fair. I personally love this event because it helps me get ready and get input for things that I need. We encourage parents and anyone to come by and see how our students are doing, how our barn is well taken care of. And we encourage you guys as well to come join us and see how well our students work with their animals, put the time in there. Regularly, students are there about 8 to 7 hours a week, putting in time with their animals, which at the end of raising their animal after 3 months, it's 150 hours. So that's a lot of time that our students put into it, and it's something that it shows how dedicated not only they are, but how they're dedicated to the chapter. With that being said, we also have our banquet coming up, our spring banquet, where we will announce our new officer team as well as awards for the people on our CDE and LDE teams. We highly recommend that you guys join us so you guys can see all of those outstanding individuals that really strive to put Pacheco FFA first and on top. So once again, thank you guys very much for all the support that you guys give us. We are more than appreciative, and we hope to see you guys at some of our events this upcoming year. Thank you.
You mentioned spring banquet. When is it?
That will be May 17th. Yes.
May 7th?
May 17th.
17th.
Yes.
Are you gonna
Yes.
send something out to us?
Yes, we will. Of course. Yes.
Pre-fair well, okay?
Do you guys?
No, that's the banquet.
April 10th is our pre-fair. Yes.
Pre-fair's gotta be before the fair, which is first week of May.
Do you guys have any more questions for us?
April 9th?
April 10th.
10.
Yes.
Great job, great tag team. You guys did a good job. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you guys.
Good
Thank you guys
information.
very much.
Appreciate it. It's always great when we see students do something that they're really proud of and come and share that with us. So thank you guys for all of you for showing up tonight and sharing that with us. Next up is ICU Technologies. Dr. Ritchie, are you going to introduce him or are you just going to let him go for it? All right.
Appreciate that. Yes. Clicker to the right. And it's the video like that.
We were really hoping not to follow the goat treadmill. That is hard to top.
You're going to have to run around the room.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Patrick Cope. I'm with Evolve Technology. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for allowing us to be here. It's an honor to be in front of all of you, the board, the parents, the students, and the staff. We are here to talk about school safety. As a parent myself of a 4-year-old, get a little emotional sometimes talking about it, who will be going to school in August. I take this very, very seriously. It's one of the things that's a lot of on the topic of a lot of our minds. It's something that we are approaching with a deft touch, but understanding that there's a lot of needs that need to be met. We have partnered with ICU. This is Jason Neatman.
Thank you. Jason Eatman, ICU Technologies. My company's located in Roseville. We spend a lot of time in this neck of the woods. Our company is focused exclusively on California K-12 campus safety. That's all we do. Some people think we're crazy for doing that, but there's just some about serving those that serve that strikes a mission nerve with us.
So we're here to talk about the Evolve Express system, which you can see the form factor up on the TVs there. The Evolve Express is meant to be a free-flowing, frictionless system, and it's a weapons detection system. It's allowing students to progress and ingress at their everyday pace of life without breaking stride, without breaking gait, as they progress on into the classrooms. It uses an extremely low-frequency magnetic field to look for anomalies passing through the system. It enables us to miss on the everyday items that students carry, but it will alarm on potential threats entering the campuses. What it does is provides a layer of your security infrastructure. One of the things that it allows us to do, again, is as they pass through, nothing is divested, they walk on in, and it allows both students and staff to go do what they're supposed to do best, which is teach and to learn, right? It's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. Can we go to the next slide, please? We are now over 700 different unique locations across the United States. To name some of the few that are in California, we're deployed at Twin Rivers High School up in Northern California. We're deployed at Victor Valley High School. We're deployed at Hemet High School. We're deployed across the street at Madera. I believe some of you may have gone and had touch points with Lawrence over there. We are deployed at Rail Journey Academies and Linwood Unified School District. Excuse me. One of the things that we do in part of our DNA is to educate. Part of our process is, and we've already gone out and done some site surveys with all of your personnel, but we have an education team, and with me is Dr. Eberly, who will be coming up momentarily. But part of our process is to educate. It's to talk about the proper deployments, to talk about what this means to the parents, what this means to the students, what this means to the staff, providing that safer learning environment, and going back to what I talked about, giving the students and staff the capability, again, to do what they do best, which is teach and learn. Part of our DNA is to go out and visit these sites. We talk about the ingress, we talk about proper staffing, we talk about continued support, we talk about training, we talk about the fact that we want to enable everyone to hit the ground running with high levels of success to be able to, again, to provide that safer learning environment. I'll bring up Dr. Eberly now. He is formerly from the Buffalo School District. He was a chief revenue officer. He was an assistant superintendent and former law enforcement.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Dr. Kevin Eberly. As Patrick was saying, I love sitting in this environment. I travel all over the country. I'm a former principal of almost 30 years, but I was chief operating officer for Buffalo, New York. It's the second largest school district in New York State. It's not by New York City. It's up by Canadian border. So anybody's been Niagara Falls in there. So don't get me confused with the Big Apple. I'm not down that way. It is just an honor to be sitting in your presence. Congratulations for your honors. And to be in front of all of you. I travel all over the country talking about safety. I talk about, not about the technology. I actually come in and talk about culture and actually talking about transformational leadership, which you definitely are, of what I've just seen here tonight. You can see, and what you've already dealt with, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're going to have parents come in with different issues, the daunting tasks of board members, of actually listening and taking all the things in that go on. I was that seat right next to the superintendent for several years as the chief operating officer in the second largest school district in New York. And I know the daunting task that you're all in. It's an honor to be in front of you, because to look at the culture and the fabric of this meeting tonight, to see all those students, which in New York it's called participation in government. I don't know what social studies class is for them, to come to see you work. Great, great honor for that teacher, to thank that teacher. So for the visitors here, it's an honor to be here with you. And what I really go around talking about is really all of you, all of the leaders in the district, and what the decisions that have to be made to look at solutions to keep our students safe. I was actually a teacher of trade, where I first started as actually a police officer out of college many years ago, 40 years ago. And I've literally dedicated my entire life to safety and security and looking at everybody else. What world we're in right now, I call it passive acceptance. We are passively accepting our different environments across the country. It's not going to happen in our neighborhood. It's not going to happen here. We have a great district. All of you right now, proud board members saying, hey, we have great schools, talking about the stories that you, I just love the soliloquies of everybody, because it's an honor for all of you to go out there and actually talk and have your voice. Well, what you showed tonight here, student voice, teacher voice, administrator voice, and your voice. That's the whole package. But we still have accepted, basically a passive acceptance when it comes to safety. Because a lot of people look at it as really just not going to happen in our neighborhood. I actually bring up an actual issue that no one really thinks about. And as budgets go, and as a superintendent, it doesn't matter if it's a $50 million budget or a $1 billion budget. It's just a zero at the end of the budget of what it actually costs to actually run an operation. It's all the same operations. You have 25 school bus drivers or 600 school bus drivers, it's still the same operation. You still have to get the kids to school. Fire alarm systems right now in this district, and every district across the country, basically I compare to actually what's going on with weapons detection and weapons prevention. We've had 8 fires in every public school since 1918 that there's been a loss of life in schools. But we have to have anywhere from 10 to 12 fire drills every year. I was a principal, had to deal with this from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. Rural school, suburban, and city. I've been in all of them. But we have to have preventative measures for those fires that haven't occurred, but we still do it. Those little kindergartens walking out there for the fire drill 12 times a year, all the things for preparedness, for prevention. Last year alone, there was 286 shootings or people actually shot in schools from weapons or any kind of violent acts. And there is nothing preventative in this country that really talks about how we prevent weapons of destruction to come into the schools. This is one solution that I retired 2 years ago, and I've been traveling all over the country, not as a salesman for Evolve. I'm a former I'm a former administrator. I'm a former COO. I'm an actual educator that has the passion of changing the culture and fabric of schools to have that mindset to actually understand what we have to do to keep kids safe. The teachers that were here today, and there are teachers and parents in here right now, and as Patrick was saying, is with his 4 years, all of us, our own children, our own grandchildren, in the next few years, we're talking about what is the next step. And that's what we really come around and really talk about. Not actually a sale of something, but actually to look at it preventative measures. And this actual solution that Patrick was talking about is something that is going to do 3 things. You're going to reduce the fear, depression, and anxiety of teachers and students across the country. That's what we've seen. This solution right here is in many, many school districts all over the country right now, and it's going a lot quicker because people are being more aware of what they need to do to go into the preventative mode versus the reactionary mode. My world for 7 years as a police officer was in the reactionary world. As the principal, I was the transformational leader. I went into to change a school, you change the whole entire fabric and culture of a school through a multi-layered, faceted system. It basically is including all the beings, all teachers, all students, student voice, teacher's voice. You already have this in this district. You bring that into a safety security team of everybody included, you'll include this preventative measure to come in there. And again, I'm not here to tell you, hey, you need to buy this product, but you need to have that next layer. Obviously, bringing us in here to even talk about it, you are way, way ahead of it as far as being aware of what the severity is that is out there. As I say, I travel all over the country. One of the things that I think about, and I want you all to think about this, everybody, I think about this every time I land somewhere. And I'm going into the last approach, and I look at all the rooftops of houses in every community. And what an incredible community, by the way, you have. It's just amazing. But flying in, landing, and I look at every one of those rooftops, and this always goes into my mind. At any given moment, any given night, any incident in any one of those houses, rural, suburban, city, it doesn't matter, could happen in that house that could change the face of the school the next day because whatever calamity happened. There's something going on right now in some house tonight that we're going to read about maybe a month from now, tragically wise. Instead of looking at it as in the reactionary mode, like, why do we have to think about it here? Let's go in a proactive way to say, what are our preventative measures that we can put in place? And that's what we need to talk about. Because then you start getting into the trauma-informed care, you get into the restorative practices. I felt for you when you're sitting here when someone comes up and talks about bullying. You were talking about the different pieces as far as the restorative practices that we go into. We changed schools in Buffalo, New York, just for those practices alone, with the restorative practices, trauma-informed care, calming rooms, a lot of things. But it was everybody. It was the entire community. You're all part of the community. You're all parents. You're all grandparents. You're all part of the community as board members, as superintendents, as administrators. It's a collective, collaborative method that a community has to come together with. All starts with you. It starts with everybody to say, hey, let's really talk about this in a serious way. It's very difficult a lot of times because a lot of people say, ooh, we don't like that look. That sort of looks like we're arming a school. And in most places, I think all the ones that have actually gone with this solution, they've looked at it as you have made the decision that safety is the number one priority in this district. And that could be a possibility of the what if something happens in a school, we're prepared for it. If you can look at all the different NFL stadiums and Disney and all the different places that put, if it's good enough for all the fan experience that go into Disney and all the NFL stadiums, how is it not good enough for our students and our future? The teachers and everybody, Future Farmers America. I was in a rural school. My first principalship was exactly like what they were doing. We didn't have a bread mill for the pigs, though. That was really impressive, you know. So those type things that are there that you're doing, you have all the answers right in front of you. You have the human capacity and the capital between your teachers, your students, and as you as board members and parents. Absolutely, the voices are out there to really discuss this and bring it as a collective decision on how you actually come into this, reducing the trauma, the fear, the anxiety. 500,000 teachers have left this profession in the last 5 years for many, many reasons. Most of them has to do with depression, fear, and anxiety. I've seen a lot of it. I personally dealt with many, many things in Buffalo. We had a mass shooting 2 years ago, this May 14th, 10 days before Uvalde. No one remembers Buffalo, but it was a mass shooting. My secretary's husband was the one that was the second one that was killed, who basically was there. So I live it personally, as far as mass shootings and trauma. And I dedicate my life, and I've dedicated my career to carry on after my years as a COO and principal, to carry it on to as many school districts that I can go to actually talk about this word and what we do as a collective, not only district, but a country. And that's what I have to say, and a little bit more, if there's any question for us, I think if you want to say something, Patrick, I really want to just give you a little bit on the element of the trauma-informed piece of this, and what we can do to help. So we're here. Thank you, and again, congratulations again, Dr. Marshall. Okay.
I'm sure there's probably questions about this, so I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Yes. Okay, you mentioned you have this, this device all over the country?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many incidents has happened through your Evolve? I mean, has there been any shootings or any mishaps or?
I can give you one case right there, sir. If you look on the screen, this happened about 3 weeks ago at a high school in Alabama, and that was stopped at the threshold. That was a real-world example, 3 magazines, a Glock, a handgun, and that was stopped at the threshold before the student was allowed to enter. I can't quantify for you, sir, because I don't have all that data. A lot of the times that is held behind closed doors, but I can tell you that there have been numerous instances of stopping those types of things happening.
And this was at a school?
Sir.
School site?
I can quantify one district that I know personally because of Brian Schultz, who's the COO of Charlotte Mecklenburg. They have over 200 units. They were one of the first districts. And they went from the first year that they knew there was an issue. There was anywhere from 30 to 35, I believe, there was weapons that actually were taken, confiscated off students. The first year of deployment, there was one found. I'm glad you brought that up, though. That's a great point that I didn't mention. This is a detection system, but I will tell you this right now, it's more of a deterrent. A good friend of mine is the superintendent of Niagara Falls, New York. If anybody's been to Niagara Falls, it's one of the wonders of the world. He calls me up after he knows I'm consulting across the country for a lot of different things involved being one of the companies. He actually called me and I said, Dr. Everly, come on, you got to get me a janitor. You go, why, for what? Well, ever since we put this in, my janitors had to go out to the front of the door and clean up all the vapes and all the different things that the kids thought they were going to get caught with because they threw them all in the bushes that they're walking into school. Which was a great story for me because it's exactly what we talk about. Our parents, it's a proud moment for parents and students that we know that most of our students are great. Some of my toughest students in Buffalo, I love because they knew they wanted help. They needed guidance. And that was a great statement for the deterrent. So it really comes into where it's a detector up first, but the deterrent for students is phenomenal. So that's a really great question you brought up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Yes.
I'm not sure what a ghost gun is, but is that made out of metal? Like a ghost gun? Is it metal?
Ghost guns are traditionally guns that have been having the serial number filed off.
So it's still
And
metal?
Still has a ferrous
Okay.
component, that is correct, yes. However, there are 3D printed guns that, depending upon the composition, if it's made of polymer plastic, this will not be seen. However, two things about firearms with plastic is that the ejection fracture of the ammunition being released from the barrel, in that plastic, the gun will explode. The other thing is that on firearms, there's a spiral cutout down the barrel to release the ammunition so it spins so it's accurate. If you think about the muskets back when my dad was alive and in that war probably, right? But the muskets had balls and they would shoot sideways this way. That's why everybody had to be so close. So it's very difficult to print a spiral cutout down to a 3D printed gun for accuracy. So most likely an explosion in your hand and a very inaccurate firearm.
Can I say one more comment? This is a very important one, and it actually has to do with, you brought that up about ghost guns or all the different elements of this. The one other piece, and I'll give you an example in Buffalo, New York. It's a district of 32,000 students and 6,000 employees, so it's a large district. The one thing I said as a principal, and you were a principal, I mean, we know what it is when students come in the first moment of class in the school. In Buffalo, because there was so much gang violence, there was so much when it came to weapons issues out at night, there were a lot of people unarmed, so they wanted every student. There was a line out the door every day wanting it, but it was really inequitable. There was no equity to it all. You knew the ones that were going to get wanted. Oh no, he was out on the street last night. Oh, this one's going to go through, and they have all the different things going in there. This system right here is a free flow system for everybody. Everybody has to walk through it. You have to all walk through it. You walk through the front door, you come through, but it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter race, color, creed, sexual orientation. Everybody walks through. It is all unbiased. It basically sets the tone for the day. And as a principal, and I can say this, Dr. Marshall, being an educator, that first moments of the school day set the tone for the day. We all know that. It sets the tone for the day. And instead of looking at it, wanting something, thinking, oh my God, I'm going in here and this is like, I can't even get to first grade class, you're greeting them. So the system is set up for principals, for teachers, for everybody to be greeting in a great moment in the morning to actually set the tone. And it has literally changed the culture and the fabric of schools across the country. So that's our mission.
I'll add something to just, when we put the systems in at Twin Rivers, up in Sacramento, it was immediately after they had 2 school shootings in the parking lots. There's no scientific data that I'm about to share with you. I will tell you though, when I was sitting with the chief of police for the school district, and we could see the behavior change for the whole community, we were thanked. Thank you for being here. And we see people that would come up, stop, and disappear. I have no idea what we did that night, but I would tell you that the culture in those environments have completely changed as a result of it. We were in Bakersfield last night. The same thing happened. We would have people go, oh, and they go back to their car. Now, I am certain that some of those were really good people, off-duty police officers that forgot they were packing still. But some people have CCWs and they just get used to carrying and they see this and they turn around. We've had but we've had situations many times where somebody says, oh, I need to go back to my car. That happened 3 different times to us last night at the All-Star game. So I will say it's an amazing deterrent. It is kind of funny the first day you turn it on. You will find a lot of vape pens in the bushes. We typically stick around and help you clean them up.
That's an important piece.
Yeah.
Mr. Lee.
I have one question. In the state of California currently, if you're a home developer, you have to put in solar in your home because the state wants it to be a green state. With all the shootings that have occurred, is there any talk at the state level that when schools are built, they must address this issue with a system like yours?
New York, we're working on it. In California, I don't know specifically legislative-wise. I was in Seattle a few months ago. They literally have legislative representatives of each school district that actually report to the Capitol and looking at a lot of this litigation. I know I'm actually working closely with people in Albany right now trying to get legislative, but that is the $64,000 question that should be answered, because I think that's a big piece. If it's legislated, then it's going to be the same thing as that mandate of those 8 fires, because those 8 fires, the history of fires from 1918, that was because of gas leaks. You know, literally schools, I mean, many, in those first couple, they didn't really have a gas and, you know, so they legislated it. We had, that's why we have our fire drills and that's what we have, the piece that we have today is all of that.
So just to follow up, if the governor is proposing and mandating that school districts, and he's giving away millions of dollars for green buses, green bus or?
School safety.
School safety, I mean.
So I am not aware of anything currently in place. I will tell you that Evolve, as a publicly traded company, has a lot of people that are having the conversations that a lot of us can't have. Right. Because I focus exclusively on campus safety, I work with a lot of big companies like Motorola, and we're all trying to do our part. I'll just say this on the record, I guess. California's a bit slow to the take on this. And so we are trying to solve that problem one district at a time.
There are daunting tasks that you're bringing up, though. Right. Politically, and a lot of different things, districts look at it a different way. As I was just alluding to, right. Some people look, oh, we don't like that look. It's like we must have a gun problem in our district. It has nothing to do with gun problems. It has to do with prevention. Just as the same thing I bring up as a fire drill or a fire alarm system is prevention.
You go to Disneyland, you go through.
Correct.
That's not a school.
No.
So,
yeah.
Correct. And that's exactly the message.
Right.
That's a great one.
Right.
Yeah. If you go through the Giants game, you walk through one of these systems. You go to the SoFi Stadium, you walk through this exact system.
Right.
Disney World, same system.
Right.
And that's the narrative that has to be brought up. Absolutely, that's what we're trying to do. And I think that's my passion too, being a consultant, not an employee of Evolve, going around actually talking that mission as far as safety and keeping schools safe and children's parents, teachers safe.
Right.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much. I attended a conference in Boston. How was it? Probably, I don't know, was it last year, like October, November, I can't remember. There were like 8,000 of us in Boston at the convention center, and they had one of these systems set up that we all had to walk through. Yeah. And it was quick, and they got 8,000 people in that place in time for the first morning session. But I did not see anybody turn around, so it was a good thing, I guess. They weren't afraid of their vape pens, so that was a good thing. But
a good feeling.
it is a quick system, which is nice, because going through security at airports was daunting after a while.
I mean, that's a good point. Airports, I will tell you, have it easy. People don't realize. You think that's they have it easy compared to schools because they don't let you outside. We let our kids outside. Well, it's a much harder environment to secure. We expect big lines. We can't keep kids waiting on line outside. We got to get them in fast. So,
and I love your line to that, because what you come down to is the qualitative part of your own feelings.
Yeah.
And that's the piece. That's the essence of it all. For our own thought process, for students' own thought process, going through and getting into the zone to go back to what schools should be, learning institutions. So that's it. So you're saying that's one thing you don't have to worry about. Come walking through this. Safety is number one for the school. Great comment. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry? No. Oh, right? Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good information. All right. On to next item, Student Health Services Update. Mr. Nguyen.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, members of the audience. For those who haven't met, my name is Andrew, Director of Student Health Services. I want to take some time tonight to talk about our department, a little bit about who we are and what we do. So we'll get right to it. So what value does health services provide to school districts? Well, the answer extends beyond just immediate care for injuries and illnesses. We're here to ensure that every student, no matter their health or disability, has equal access to learning and the chance to succeed in school. And we do this by providing support and accommodations to help students manage their medical conditions at school, ensure compliance with ed codes, board policies, and legislations. And these duties help ensure that we meet LCAP Goal 4.2, which is a district-specific item. Our team consists of LVNs and health assistants. They're staffed at the site level. We have credentialed school nurses, which provide services at the district level, and then there's me, the director. And so together we aim to reduce absences by managing health on site, supporting academic achievements by removing health-related barriers, and promoting a safe environment. We'll get into some of those details, but before we do that, it's only appropriate for me to introduce the folks that make it happen for us every day. Some of our team, this is Ediseli. This woman works at 150% all the time, if you've met her. She's a huge advocate for students, and this is the best picture she was willing to provide us, but she's over at LBE. This is Myra. She is the president of our party planning committee and plays an instrumental role in onboarding and training new hires and substitutes. This is Amy. She's showing me that she is a lifelong learner and is always looking for opportunities to enhance her healthcare skills. That's Ron, a true Niners fan and a local darts legend. This is Myra. She was one of the original health services employees here in Los Baños, and she's been running the show long before many of us got here. Crystal, she oversees our health services supply room over at LBJ, and also works with the ROP students in Marie Soriano's health careers and medical technologies class. Yolanda, she goes on overnight trips to Camp Green Meadows to provide health services to those schools. And she also helps with training and onboarding our new employees as well. This is Taylor. She runs one of the busiest, she holds it down at one of the busiest health rooms in our district at Miano. Juanita, she does a phenomenal job with tracking down immunizations and also works with the ROP students, giving them a hands-on experience. Terry. She is a 10-year veteran, 10-plus year veteran at HME, and is a very nurturing figure to those students. And this is Patty, featuring Nick, the custodian. She is our most recent hire, and she is absolutely thriving at Patterson. So I'm really happy that she joined our team. LaSwan, she had a record-breaking month in February for most emergencies tended to. Not the record that we want to break, but it shows the importance of having health personnel on site at each site. So thank you, LaSwan. Maria is an incredible nurse. She also helps out and is consistently helping out with field trips, overnight trips to Camp Green Meadows, and provides health services over the summer as well. And not pictured is Cecilia. She's a very big advocate for her team and is not afraid to bring up concerning issues. And Sandy, super friendly, super outgoing, can make friends with anybody. And those are LVNs and health assistants. Onto our credentialed school nurses, this is Jazz Beer, a very kind and compassionate nurse. Caesar, the main man, the heart and soul of our team. Paloma, I would unofficially consider her assistant to the director of student health services. She's kept me sane on this journey. And Alfonso is our department CFO, chief fitness officer. So what do we do? Starting with our health assistants and LVNs, as mentioned before, they are staffed at the site level. So they're providing care for injured or sick students. They support students with acute or chronic health conditions, and we'll get into a little bit of that. They'll administer prescribed medications per the doctor's orders, and they'll also collaborate with the school nurses on various health initiatives like following with parents on immunizations, doctor's orders, and medical documentation in areas, which is incredibly helpful for generating that reports that you'll see in this presentation. Just a little glimpse into the health room. This is at MSE, and each school will be a little different. On the left there are donated spare clothes for students who might have soiled themselves or might otherwise need a change of clothes, so we can handle things at school. On the right is a medication, not a medication cabinet, a first aid cabinet with some first aid supplies. And ice fixes most complaints that come through to the health room. On to our credentialed school nurses. Let's see. They conduct the IEP health assessments and contribute to 504 plan development. And this consists of a hearing and vision screening as well as going through a health questionnaire with families. And oftentimes this is where we might discover health issues that weren't brought to our attention before. They'll also develop and supervise health care plans for those students. They'll provide health education to students, which they're doing right now through growth and development teachings. and they'll provide training to staff on responding to medical emergencies or just basic health needs like how to use an EpiPen, inhaler, stuff like that for staff. And all of our team, including the health assistants and LVNs, serve as the liaison between students, families, healthcare providers, and the school to ensure coordinated care. All right, so on this slide, I kind of just wanted to give an overview of some of the health conditions that we work with. About 16% of our students in this district have a documented chronic health condition. And so students with chronic conditions may miss more school more often than others, which can affect their academic performance. And so for these students, we want to provide support to help them manage their health on site. And I also want to point out that while some of the most common conditions here are asthma, allergies, and allergies, it's important to note that under the other category is where we kind of have some of the more complex health conditions, such as osteogenesis imperfecta or brittle bone, cerebral palsy, hemophilia, and traumatic brain injuries. And so we run a pretty busy health office. About 339 students come to the health office in a day, district-wide. Wow. And so, of course, those numbers will vary individually from site to site, but that's on average. Some fun stats there. We're basically on board to exceed those number of student encounters this year compared to last year. And on that pie chart, I know the text is a little small, but those big slices are the common encounters that you might expect. So, injury care, GI symptoms like stomach aches, cold and flu symptoms. And then the smaller slices kind of represent the more emergent encounters, which might be fractures, seizures, and other emergencies where we might need to call 911. And speaking of emergencies, we are equipped at each school site with certain emergency response tools. Each school will have an AED for cardiac emergencies, EpiPens to respond to anaphylaxis or a life-threatening allergic reaction, and Narcan to treat potential opioid overdoses. One of the other things that we do is immunization compliance. Per California's Health and Safety Code, students must have up-to-date vaccinations for school entry. So as you can see, we're in good standing. I've included stats there from 21-22 all the way to this year, and we've improved greatly. And our team is responsible for following up on immunizations for all incoming students as part of admission. And we'll also help guide families who need assistance with getting those immunizations. An example of that is this year, we partnered with Golden Valley Health Centers so that students who didn't have their immunizations during the registration days, like Tiger Prep, could just do a walk-in visit to the clinic and get their missing immunization. And the reason that we're not at 100% at our sites is because some students are conditionally enrolled, meaning they've started their vaccination series but are not yet due for their next one, and so our team does track that. And also there are medical exemptions where a licensed physician can do a medical exemption and for students that have a health condition that contraindicates receiving a vaccine. Hearing and vision screenings per California Ed Code, every kindergartner, second grader, fifth grader, and eighth grader will have their hearing and vision screened. This is important because undetected hearing or vision issues can impact learning and overall school performance. And so last year we screened about 3,400 students. We're about that much this school year. And it's important to note that 15 to 20% of students will not pass their vision screening, varies from site to site. So for these families, we will follow up about the results and recommend that they get further evaluation. And we are also able to provide assistance to low-income families through our partnership with INAC. They are a nonprofit who helps connect families to optometrists to get an eye exam and glasses for free. Last year, we were able to help about 65 students through INAC, and we're exceeding that number this year. A non-student service that our team provides are TB risk assessments. Our school nurses are available every other Friday to meet virtually and conduct the TB risk assessment for volunteers, coaches, substitutes, or staff who just need it as part of employment. And the obvious perk here is that it just saves time and money. It's very convenient. And so as of February, I didn't run the stats for March, but we've done about 129 TB risk assessments for the school year as of February. So here I want to highlight the importance of collaborating across all departments because it takes a collective effort to fully support students. And so with special services, as mentioned earlier, we'll conduct the health assessments as part of the IEP process, and we'll create an individualized care plan if applicable. And our team will also train the BSAs, the behavior support assistants, and other staff to provide accommodations to students with IEPs. With nutrition services, you heard a little bit about during that community event, but basically we'll relay allergy information to kitchen staff. So that way we're on the lookout for students with food allergies. And we'll use nutrition data like carb counts for management of diabetes. On the education side, we are collaborating with teachers and administrators to ensure that student health needs are met in class. Sometimes a teacher might refer a student to the nurse if they have concerns about their hearing, their vision, or just a general health concern. And our nurses will also participate in student attendance review boards to offer medical input if appropriate. On the LEAP side, that program has been growing, and so Mr. Cruz and I have been working together to hire a dedicated after-school LEAP LVN, and this is to provide health services after school. It'll help to maintain continuity of care, and a little typo there, what that last bullet point meant to say was provide staff training for students with medical needs. So we'll work with the LEAP staff, the LEAP leaders to kind of understand what the care plan or the health needs are of certain students. So I'll pivot now to some administrative initiatives. This is just a general timeline of some milestone and achievements in our journey so far. I won't go through everything here, but we've updated and revised some board policies and administrative regulations. We've overhauled the health services website to be more informative, to be kind of a one-stop shop for families, staff, and whoever wants to reference health-related materials. And then in the pipeline for the spring, we are going to be working with those ROP students as mentioned. We're going to be launching our wellness committee. And shout out to the School Nurses of California Foundation. In the summer, we were awarded a grant to get training on the best strategies for success during school medical emergencies. And this is meant to equip our team with the most up-to-date and evidence-based practices to keep our students safe. Community partnerships, we made quite a few partnerships this year, and again, I won't go through all of these. I talked about INAC and Golden Valley earlier. Big Smiles, they provided us with on-site dental services, including examinations, dental cleanings, fluoride treatments, and sealants if appropriate. And I will say that for some students, this is the only opportunity that they do get to get dental services. Over 300 students have received services through Big Smiles this year. We've also partnered with Merced County Department of Public Health to promote physical exercise and nutrition education through fun activities and gardening projects. And a shout out to the Italian Catholic Federation and Mr. Gary Caropresso for their contributions to our district's Child Welfare Fund, which has been used to support families in need. It's been used in the past for glasses, clothes, lice kits, and other medical supplies. Lastly, I want to highlight our school nurse caseload ratios. Just looking at the data throughout this presentation, we saw a positive shift in the quality of our health services, which is significantly correlated with the enhanced staffing in our department. In the 21-22 school year, they had quite an overwhelming caseload. And fast forward to present day, big thanks to the district and the board and stakeholders, we've been able to make strong improvements with staffing. And that's allowed us to have more achievements in our health services. So as you saw from the presentation, we had greater immunization compliance. We were able to conduct more thorough health assessments, more community partnerships to bring important services to our students, and extended our outreach and case management support to students. So while our ratios do remain among the highest in the area, it's clear that these improvements have elevated our standard of healthcare in our district, and it shows that we are on the right path. And so I'll conclude with this quote: students must be healthy to be educated and educated to be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Appreciate what you guys are doing there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, item D, mid-year LCAP update. Dr. Ritchie. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, board. I know that everyone's excited about this. I'm just going to tell you all, please contain yourselves. LCAP is one of those things that everyone you can't stay in your seat, but I need you just to relax a little bit this evening as we talk about the mid-year LCAP report. I apologize for even bringing it this evening. I saw the lineup for tonight as some powerhouse presentations, and I did not want to add another one to the docket, but by statute, I have to present this by this point of the year. So we'll just roll on through. If you have questions along the way, please stop me. We'll have time at the end, but let's get rolling. So you know what the LCAP is. It's a 3-year plan that the state requires us to have in order to serve unduplicated count students. Those are students who are considered unduplicated count are English learners, students who are considered homeless, foster youth, long-term English learners, and students who participate in the free reduced lunch program. So this year, if you look at under each of our goals, some of the metrics that we're pretty excited. Some of the increases, the gains we've made is first, and then we call them glows and grows. For our first goal with English learners, we had a 7% increase of students who are classified as fluent English proficient. That means students who are we call this reclassified students who went from being considered English learners to students who are now classified as they are have the equivalent language abilities as English-only peers. 20% is a massive number for in any given year, and that's kudos to the English Learner Services and the work of our teachers and our classified staff. This is something that's grown over time, and it's incredibly impressive. You see that we had an increase for students who were making progress through English language proficiency. That's students who increased one level on their LPAC scores or maintained a level 4 or higher. And so we see great growth there. Areas where we need to continue to work is our on the CAS as measured by last year. I reported that already back in the fall, so I won't repeat that. And we just got our college career readiness rate back in December on the dashboard. We see that there's a very low rate there, but we think we have an idea of some of the issues that are associated with that, and most of it is due to data. Under the actions, the way the mid-year report reads is you have fully implemented, partially implemented, or plan to be implemented. Fully implemented, these are ones that we have allocated funds toward, and these are ones that are actually occurring. Partially implemented means we have allocated funds toward, most of the funds are happening or have been expended, or it's not fully happening for whatever reason, and then planned for some obvious reasons we wanted it to happen, but it just hasn't worked out yet. For example, under planned right here, we have program specialist. We had a tough time trying to find qualified candidates for program specialist. We decided to hold off because it's just, you don't want to you're going to find someone within, and we were already having difficulty filling our special education teacher needs within the classroom. We have open positions right now. We didn't want to pull a teacher from a classroom serving students to fill those positions. We decided to hold off until the spring in order to hire for next year. In the summer learning programs, that's an obvious case why it's planned, because it's not happening until summer. On the second one, I'm not going to go through all this. You have the presentation, will also be placed in the presentation on the website. Some of the things to note on this, however, is for the second goal, the decline in students who are feeling social emotional distress. I didn't put all because I didn't have enough space on a slide, but this was actually a pretty dramatic decrease, especially among 11th graders. It went from 38% to 29%. For the California Healthy Kids Survey, since I've been looking at this data since I got here in 2019, that's the biggest decline I've seen over the last 5 years. We're starting to see the impact of having the additional counselors, the additional clinical services. All the emphasis we've been placed on in improving student social and emotional health, we're starting to see the effects of that. And so that's something that we're very excited about. And when you had the counseling presentation here a couple board meetings ago, and you see the work that they're putting in, it's making a difference for our students. So one of the areas that is a growth is that we still have a much higher than average suspension rate for students in our district. And that's something that we've talked safety, we talk about how we're working with behaviors. We're still suspending about twice as, our suspension rate is about twice as high as the state's average. And we're not improving the behavior. So what we're doing is not working, and we have to find out a better way. But we do have some school sites that are doing it a different way, and we're seeing results there. And so we're going to continue to work toward those routes. So the actions, fully implemented, counselors, the work the counselors are doing, the hatching results has been tremendous. The work they've been working with Dr. Horton and planning together has been phenomenal. We have, depending on the school site, some with the professional development and the behavioral support specialists, there's some things that kind of hit and miss, but we have work that's progressing forward. For our academic goals, our A through G readiness rate is slightly below state average, but when you compare us to other districts our size and with our demographics, we are above that level. And we also believe that in looking at our data, we talk about data in and data out. We found several areas that we need to improve within our Aries information system that we feel if we can clean up that data going in, that's going to automatically raise some of these percentages and how we report to the state, which will clean some of this up because our students are performing better than what's actually being reported based on our internal, the way we're looking at things internally. However, it's not showing up when we report it to CalPADS because we haven't cleaned up some of the information there. So that's that position with the data and assessment accountability coordinator that she's been working on that, and we expect to have those results in this summer to have some of that cleaned up. Some of the other areas of growth you see there with mathematics, when you look at with the maps, first with CASP, I was just called by West Ed, the research arm or a research organization for the West Coast, State of California, contracted with them to conduct research on districts who are outperforming their expectations. We were chosen as a district to learn from within the state of California and specifically for our growth in mathematics and for our decrease in chronic absenteeism. And they had an hour-long conversation with two researchers last week from West Ed, asking me specifically, what are we doing? First thing was we have great staff. We have great teachers. We have great administrators. Our schools are focused on what's best for kids, and they're focused on doing what's best for them. And it asked specifically about what are we seeing with mathematics? Why do you think that's going down? So, well, we've invested so much time and effort in professional learning communities. When we have, the research is clear that collective teacher efficacy, teachers working together around data, around their students, and around what best works for them, yields results. We're starting to see that. That's not just on the CAST from last year, but you look internally at our MAP data from our students whose meet or exceeded growth projections. Those are the percent of students who there's a score with the MAP data. You say they expect them to grow a certain amount of points. What we're seeing, there's the percentage of students who grew above that, what you would expect them to grow. So the students who grew at or below, they still grew, but just not at what you might expect them to. Those are tremendous numbers of students who are growing above what you expected them to. And so we're seeing that in mathematics, and we're seeing them doing really where we want them to. Conversely, we're not seeing it in ELA. And that's an area of concern. And that's something that we are talking about, and we're looking at some plans of what we can do to address that going forward. And we'll be bringing some plans to the board in April, hopefully, for that. You have a question?
Oh, okay. You want to go now? Okay. I didn't know. I saw you.
Okay, on goal 3.
Yes, sir.
On grows.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were just talking about the CASP. I'm looking at the MAP growth reading percentage of students meet and exceed growth projections decline.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see 2nd, 5th, 8th, 9th, and 11th. What is the decline? What's causing the decline? What's the purpose of that?
Well, the way the MAP growth projections work is that this is not from year to year. So you can't look at it from 2nd to 5th to 8th. These are just the grade levels that we put in the LCAP. What you're looking at is from year from that specific grade level to the prior year. And you're looking also, when we're looking at the students' growth, we're looking at, did those students, so in second grade, did those students grow? That percent of students, did they meet their growth projections? And we didn't see that. We have lots of theories. When you speak with teachers, you speak with site administrators, there's lots of theories. I'm not gonna speculate right now, but one thing I will say is we've invested a lot of time, and we have a common curriculum now, which we did not have a few years ago. We have common assessments, which we did not have a few years ago, so we're able to actually see what's going on. One thing we do not have, however, is we don't have common expectations of instruction for teaching literacy and teaching reading. And that's something that we need to address. And that's something we'll be discussing as we move forward.
And this will bring up the decline.
That's the theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you can work on. You take a plan, you put a plan in place, and you see if it works. And if it doesn't, you ditch it and you move on to a new one, or you double down and see if it just needs more time.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So on goal 4, our graduation rate remains high, and we have an increase of students who are CTE program completers. Once again, that number remains artificially low because we have some coding issues on how our CTE programs are coded in Aries, and so we are fixing that, and we expect that number to shoot up. We totally expect our college and career readiness rate to explode in the next year as we correct some of these things that I think I've alluded to the board over the past couple of years, that we have a data problem. When you have poor data going in, you're going to get poor data going out, and that affects your state accountability. That affects a lot of issues. Great thing is we got people doing the work now, so we're able to start addressing some of that, and so we expect that to be addressed. As it shows up there, one of the areas that is lower is that lower than expected college career readiness rate, but we expect that we're being able to fix that. Plus, some of the work that is being done at the high schools with California Educational Partners work, and also CVNIC, they've been addressing that with some of the goals that they have, and we're starting to see some promising practices happening at both the high schools with that. And then here's some of the actions that are being fully implemented. If you have questions about that, you can, but we'll just jump to the summary. The main thing is that in mathematics, our students are making great progress. We expect them to continue to make progress. We grew last year on the CAS. We expect it to grow again this year. We're in the middle of taking our spring math assessments. We're seeing right now preliminary data. It's very, very preliminary. We're not going to have that data in until about another week or two. But when we get it, what I'm seeing right now, I'm expecting that we're going to see the continued growth in mathematics, which when we project out for the CASP, I expect that we will see that we'll have growth in CASP this year for mathematics. For ELA, the jury's out. I'm curious to see what we'll see right now. I'm expecting us to be about the same for ELA this year and for CASP. One area that we're excited about is that student well-being is improving. We're starting to see the fruit of our labors with counselors. We have facilities issues that do continue to need to be addressed, and that are being addressed. And as you saw, or we mentioned earlier, safety continues to be a priority, but we have some really promising practices occurring at several different school sites that we're looking to replicate across the district. And as always, we continue to focus on our student needs and putting our students first. Any questions?
Questions? Seeing none.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving right along. Next up is our second period interim budget report. Welcome, Mel.
I'm here to present to you tonight the second interim budget report. As you know, we present you several budget reports throughout the year, one of them being the unaudited actuals, the first interim, the second interim, and the budget. The second interim covers our financials from July 1st to January 31st. There are 3 different certification that districts can acquire. A positive certification means that we can meet our financial obligations. Sorry, I forget this every time. Means we can meet our financial obligations for the current year and the next 2 subsequent years. A qualified certification means that we might not be able to meet one of the years. And a negative means that we know for a fact that we are unable to meet our financial obligations. The interim summary, currently the district is submitting a positive certification for this interim report. Our current district enrollment stays at 11,047 with our average daily attendance at 10,043. So we have roughly a little bit over 1,000 students absent every day, which I know that has been something we've addressed several times. Our unduplicated count is currently at 79.11. With the state budget report that we went to, we were informed that currently COLA for this year will stay at 8.22. They are projecting a decrease in COLA for the 24-25 school year. We are, at the governor's budget, we heard 0.76. We are hearing now it could be 0. We won't know until the May revise, so these numbers could change with those numbers changing. We also have a projected decrease in COLA for the 25-26 school year from 3.29 to 2.73. The governor's budget did include $5 million in one-time funds for green buses, $25 million in ongoing funds for the mandated block grant, and transitional kindergarten eligibility expanded to all 4-year-olds who turned 5 between September 2nd and June 2nd. There is a possible proposed delay in transitional kindergarten and full-day kindergarten facilities. The special ed base rate did increase from $820 from last year to $887.40 per ADA, and the Universal Meals Program was extended for this year. We also received one-time Learning Community for School Success Program grant that you heard about earlier of $1.6 million. The next slide gives you a breakdown of the unrestricted and restricted balances in the second interim report. As you could see on the unrestricted, did I change it? Yeah, okay. The beginning balances were $16.2 million with a revenue of 158.6, expenditures of 138. We had the transfer out for facilities of $5 million, which left us an ending fund balance of $14.5 million. So you ask, what does that consist of? That $14.5 consists of our revolving fund of $29,000, our payroll reserves of $1.7, our committed for the LCAP carryover and the TK Center, and our $7.7 million in the 3% required reserves. So when you look at this, be aware that our payroll reserves of $1.7, our current monthly payroll is almost $8 million. So currently, we would not have enough to cover 1 month payroll. The restricted fund is always a hot topic. The beginning balance of the restricted fund was $40 million at the beginning of the year. We had a revenue of $63 million and expenditures of $115. You're probably thinking, how are we spending more than what we received? We're spending down fund balance. As you could see, at the end of the year, we should end up about $5.9 million. Keep in mind, restricted fund comes with strings. It can only be spent certain ways on certain things. You can't just go spend them on whatever we want like we can unrestricted. They're very specific on what these can be spent on, and they're very hot audit items. So general fund expenditures. For the unrestricted, we had $55.5 million in certificated salaries, 16.8 in classified salaries, 36.9 million in benefits, 12.7 in books and supplies, 15.6 in services, and 2.1 in capital outlay, for a total of 144.5 million in expenses. The next slide is showing you the difference between adopted budget and second interim. As you could see, we lost $1.5 million from adopted budget to second interim. We had a decrease in ADA when we do a revised P2 at the end of the year. And we also we struggled collecting the alternative income forms that help us get the supplemental and concentration funds. That has become a big issue with the universal meals. Everyone's free, nobody wants to fill out the forms. So we're trying to find ways to entice people to fill out those forms. We can't make it mandatory, so we're doing whatever we can to collect more of those funds. Multi-year projections. Keep in mind these numbers could change at the May revise, but as of now I have to present to you what I know for a fact. Okay. So this is only unrestricted funds. We should have we're projecting an ending fund balance of $14.5 million in current year. That's with an reserve for economic uncertainty of 7.7 and the 29,000 in revolving, the 5 million in committed, and again, payrolls or reserves of 1.7, which would leave us a district reserve percentage of 5.04. The state requires that we cannot have any more than a 10% ending fund balance, so we are definitely way below the cap that we're allowed. Keep in mind, the economic reserves is 3% of all expenditures, restricted and unrestricted, but unrestricted takes the hit for it. Restricted doesn't. But their expenses are included in that 3%, so you have to include those. Again, these numbers could change with the May revise. So what are our assumptions? We are currently...
Just on air.
Okay.
Go back one slide.
The multi-year?
Yes.
Okay.
So, looking at that slide, it showed an ending balance. I can't remember what it was because it's not there now.
14.5 million.
Yes, but if our COLA, like you said, is not 0.76 but 0,
that drops.
how much does that affect that? Quite a bit, or
Yes.
a little bit, or
Every little bit. When COLA, when the COLA we had projected before we went and it went down to 0.76, we lost $5 million just with that COLA drop in the year out. It makes a huge difference. And remember, the PERS increases, I think, 1.7, Cypher? So COLA's not even going to cover the increase in PERS. What you will notice is the economic reserves drops the years out because our spending is less because the ESSER funds are expiring. So we're spending less, so the 3%, there's less expenditures for that. So you will see that drop, but you're also going to see the percentage of fund balance drop as well. You could see on the third year out, if our COLA was to stay at what we're projecting, we're not even at 5% reserves. And you could tell in the third year, we only have a payroll reserves of $681,000. And with the $8 million payroll, that's not a good place to be. Okay, so our assumptions, we are expecting flat ADA at this time because most districts are losing ADA. We, I think, got 10 more this year, but it fluctuates. We have to go by P2. We're funded off P2. Our enrollment could be 12,000, but if we still only have 10,000 kids show up to school, that's what we're getting funded off of. So we have to go by that. We project that our unduplicated count will remain the same. Our multi-year projections does include our COP payment. And in our projections, we are aware that the state is having some financial issues, and we are well below the 10% that we're allowed to have, but we are planning ahead for if there's more cuts. The final synopsis. The second interim report, again, is from July through June 31st. We are currently able to meet our financial obligations thanks to the one-time federal funds, state funds, and the COLA. Enrollment continues to remain flat, and ADA continues to be volatile. Special ed and transportation costs continue to increase each year. And the district has taken actions to collect as much form as we can. We're getting ready to work with our vendor to get the more forms from them to be able to distribute to our sites for their back to school packets so that we're ready to start tackling that. That's a huge project. The next slide is a new slide. I put this in after we presented the first interim. You guys had questions. How do all year long we say money's tight, and the end of the year we have this huge fund balance? And you guys wanted to know, well, what was that fund balance? So I went through our records and broke it down. Fund balance, we don't get, when we build the budget in April and May, we don't know what the fund balances are because we haven't closed our books yet. We don't close our books until August. So August, we start seeing all the different pots of money that we have, and we have to start closing them out. That is when we know how much is left in those pots. All the bills are paid, all the timesheets are paid. So when we close the books at the end of the year, the general fund, unrestricted, had $8.3 million left in fund balance. Keep in mind that $8.3 million in general fund only, $5.5 million of it goes to the 3% reserves. We only have $2.8 million left at the end of the school year last year to cover payroll. That's still, payroll's $8 million, not enough. But we have this issue every time at this time of year. I hear the narrative, the district's hiding money in their 4s and 5s. I hear this all the time. And so I had, this was brought to me again this year, the district's hiding money. Explain it. Why are the fund balances one thing at adopted budget and at second or first, and the amounts are huge? We don't have carryover when we do adopted budget. So you're seeing basically the grants that and entitlements we believe we're going to get in the budget. Carryover I can't budget carryover because I don't know what that is at that time. So you could see just in restricted funds, we had $51 million in carryover. $51 million in restricted. That's money we can't touch. Those have to be spent certain ways. And that leads to the next slide. This slide has become a huge topic at negotiations. It's in your books that you got, and it's kind of a snapshot of everything. And when people are looking at it, they're looking at combined. So they're looking at restricted and unrestricted together. You can't look at them together. They're two separate entities. Restricted has to be spent a certain way, unrestricted a certain way. Restricted's not up for grabs. So I put this in here because people will come and say, well, wait, adopted budget, your 4s were $27 million. How come at first interim they're now $42 million? Because carryover's posted. When I close the books, I don't know that. So I can't just leave the money hanging there. I have to budget it somewhere. So I put it in the 4s and 5s. They say, well, why don't you put those in the 1s, 2s, and 3, which is salary and benefits? Well, I'm overstating what people are costing us. So I can't do that. I can't put it in a 6 because then we can't pull in directs on it. So I have to place the money in the 4s and 5s. A good example of this is the Learning Recovery Block Grant. If you look at that prior slide, you'll see that the Learning Recovery Block Grant was $15.3 million and ELOPE was $11.3 million. So where do I budget that? I don't have salaries in Learning and Recovery Block Grant because we are not spending those funds till next year. Can't put $15 million in teacher salary because then it looks like we're spending $15 million more on salaries than we are. So I have to put it in a 4 or 5 because I have to budget it somewhere. If not, then yeah, I am hiding it if I'm not budgeting it. So I put it there, but I'm not hiding it. I have to place it somewhere. So that's why when you see the budget and then you see first interim, you see these huge jumps because now we have the carryover and I have to post it. I put this slide in here because this has been a big topic and I keep hearing it, you're hiding money, you're hiding money. I'm not hiding money, I can't post carryover in adopted budget because I don't know those numbers. And when you look at like the 4s and 5s, currently just in general fund, we have 89 different resources. That's 89 different pots of money. When I close the books, I have to close each one of those out separately to see what their balances are. I don't know that at the time when I develop budget in April and May. So when I'm doing the budget, it's bare minimum, what I think we're gonna get, what our allocations usually are. When we do unaudited actuals, it's actuals. This is actually what we spent, everything's paid, this is what we have left. But it's not $59 million in general fund left. As you could see, it's $51 million in restricted and $8 million in unrestricted. So this has been a topic about everyone, like, why are the numbers so dramatic? So I kind of wanted to explain it. No one's actually reached out and asked me to explain it from any of the bargaining units, but I would be more than happy to explain that. Like Cypher will know, fiscal people tend to talk in fiscal language, and people say, well, can you say that in English? So I try to pull it out to where people would understand why you're seeing these big numbers, why you're seeing them changing. If I knew what carryover was and I could budget it in budget development, I would, but at that time I don't. So that's why you continue to see jumps. Now, another thing that someone might say, well, that doesn't make sense. Your difference is 40 million, but your carryover was 59. You have to remember, when we do budget development, we don't know what a lot of our awards are at that time because the state hasn't posted them yet. So we usually post and budget what we currently got that year. And then in first interim, you'll see fluctuations. Every first interim and second interim, I go and check all the award letters all over again to make sure that I'm dealing with accurate numbers. So we may have budgeted 2 million and the state says, oh, nope, you're only getting 1.7, so you see a little drop in revenue. Well, when I drop that revenue, I have to drop the supplies too. It has to balance out. So you'll see that. You're never going to say, okay, well, it's $1 was over there, there's $1 here. The fluctuations in 89 different accounts. But I kind of wanted to put this in so everyone could understand why you're seeing that huge jump from budget development to first interim and second interim. And that way, when you guys get asked, you could say, well, that's carryover. And as you could see on the slide before, this carryover is all documented in every resource. So everybody's aware of what is going on with that. And that is the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Sorry I threw in 2 extra slides. I know it's late, but I thought they were important that everybody see
Those were very good. Thank you. That clears up a lot of questions.
Well, it's become a constant issue, so I wanted to cover that topic.
That's a good one.
Thank you very much.
Those were
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much. All right. On to item F, transportation plan. Oh, sorry, Tina. Oh, I was so used to not voting on anything, all the other stuff we did. Sorry. All right, seeing no questions, need a motion to second, please.
I'll make motion for that. Second.
We got a motion by member Gattuso, seconded by member Moran. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Tina, for catching that. Transportation plan, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me here, Dr. Marshall. I'm here to present, by the way, my name's David Taylor. I'm the new transportation supervisor. I started back in July. So I'm here today to present the transportation plan for 24-25. What this plan is it pretty much tells us how we're going to prioritize transportation to pre-K, K, and 1st through 6th grade. Also, students who fall under the McKinney-Vito Homeless Assistance Act, as well as Homeless Assistance Act, as well as, excuse me, the unduplicated pupils. By approving this plan, the district will be reimbursed approximately $750,368. Do we have any questions?
No. Sorry. Go ahead. You're fine.
So, with the help of Dr. Lee and Mel, we came together to put this plan together. They helped me with the financials and putting the financials together. And it's recommended that the board approve this transportation plan for 24-25.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, I need a motion.
I move that we approve the transportation plan.
Who second? Okay, got a motion by member Gattuso, seconded by member Valadeo to approve the transportation plan. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
We still have the rest of this page, which is 4 items, plus the next page and the page after that, and the consent calendar. So I've been asked to take a 10-minute break. Just as,
Mr. Taylor's done a great job for our district. They even post the route on our website and made a difference. So I just really want to thank you, Mr. Taylor, for doing the great job of the crew every day, working hard, transporting our students safely. So thank you.
Most definitely. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate it. So we're going to take hopefully 10 minutes or less just to do a quick potty break. And then we will be right back. right, we are back. On to item G, expanded learning opportunities program plan update.
School Board of Trustees, my name is Zach Cruz. I'm the Director of Expanded Learning Programs, and you have the update to our ELOP plan for your review and hopefully approval. Any questions?
I think we all read through it. Any questions? All right, need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item G.
Got a motion by Mr. Lieb, seconded by Mr. Munoz to approve the expanded learning opportunities program plan update. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. On to authorization to seek bids for the Los Banos Junior High School Building F re-roofing project. Is that going to be Dr. Lee? Okay.
It's recommend that the board approve authorization to seek bids for Los Banos Junior High School Building F re-roofing project.
Any questions? Motion? Got a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Gattuso to authorize to seek bids for the Los Banos Junior High School Building F re-roofing project. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. On to item I. Let me get to that page here. And item I is bid acceptance for the Los Banos Junior High School gym HVAC system. Dr. Lee.
It is recommended that the board approve the bid from Young's Air Corporation for the Los Banos Junior High School HVAC system replacement for the northwest part of the gym.
Any questions?
Second.
I know. I know you guys are, what do you got? Okay. All right, wait, motion by Member Valadeo, seconded by,
Have you done?
who's seconded?
I seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Lieb. Okay, Valadeo Lieb to accept the bid for the Los Banos Junior High School gym HVAC system. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried. On to item J, authorization to seek bids for the RME Building D re-roofing project. Dr. Lee.
It is recommended that the board approve the authorization to seek bids for Miano Elementary School Building D re-roofing project.
Questions? Motion? Motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Gattuso to accept the bid for the RME Building D re-roofing project. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried. On item K, resolution 03-24, evaluating real property for the Early Learning Center in accordance with the school site selection standards established by the California Department of Education. Who has that? Dr. Lee?
I'm sorry, just real quick. With Mr. Scott Odell here from Odell Planning, he can here to help answer the questions regarding the public hearing. So I'll go ahead and read item K and L. So item K, after public hearing, is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve resolution number 03-24, evaluating real property for the Early Learning Center in accordance with the school site selection standards established by California Department of Education.
Okay, so we will open the hearing and close the hearing and then go to any questions. So it is 9:51 and we will open the public hearing. Anybody here to come forward? Seeing no one coming forward, we'll close the public hearing at 9:51. Any questions from the board? Motion?
So moved.
We got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Smith. No further questions. We go to a roll call vote. Tina, please.
Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. On to resolution 04-24, adoption of a mitigated negative declaration for the Early Learning Center project and approval of the project. Dr. Lee?
After public hearing, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve resolution number 04-24, adoption of a mitigated negative declaration for the Early Learning Center project and approval of the project.
All right, so it is now 9:52. We are going to open the public hearing on this item. Anybody wish to speak, come forward. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing at 9:52. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, need a motion, please? Seconded by, okay, we have a motion by Member Moran, seconded by Member Smith to adopt Resolution 04-24. It's a roll call vote. Tina?
Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, item M, bid acceptance for the modular buildings for Early Education Center. Dr. Lee.
It is recommended that the board accept the bid submitted by American Modular System, Inc. for the modular building for the Early Education Center project and approve a notice of award and authorize the superintendent or designee to sign contract documents and issue the notice to proceed.
All right, questions? Motion?
Move.
Got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Valadeo to accept the bid for the modular buildings for the Early Education Center. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried unanimously. On to item N, bid acceptance for the FOT site improvement project. Dr. Lee.
It's recommended that the board accept the bid submitted by TBS Contractors for the FOT site improvement project and approve a notice of award and authorize the superintendent or designee to sign contract documents and issue the notice to proceed.
Questions? Comments? Motion?
So moved.
We got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Gattuso to accept the bid for the FOT site improvement project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And it is carried. On to item O, change order request number 2 for number 2 BMY Construction Group, Lofton Phase 2 project. Dr. Lee.
It's recommended that the board trustee approve change order number 2 with BMY Construction Group, Inc. for the construction of Lofton Stadium new track and field improvement project.
Any questions? Seeing none, need a motion, please?
Move.
We got a motion from Member Munoz, seconded by Member Moran to approve the change order number 2 for the Lofton Phase 2 project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it is carried unanimously. Next item is course title number changes, first reading. Dr. Horton, welcome.
Good evening. It's recommended the board declare its intent to adopt the attached list of updated course title and number changes, also approved by the Secondary Curriculum Council.
Comments, questions? All right, seeing none, need a motion, please. Got a motion by Member Valadeo, seconded by Member Gattuso to declare our intent to adopt the course title number changes, first reading. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And is carried unanimously. Item Q, secondary new courses, first reading. Dr. Horton.
It is recommended the board declare its intent to adopt the following new courses, all at the high school level and all approved at the Secondary Curriculum Council. JROTC for Army, Computer Science, and Ethnic Studies.
All right, any comments or questions? Motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Moran. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried unanimously. Item R, textbook adoptions, first reading. Dr. Horton.
It is recommended that the board declare its intent to adopt textbooks for high school Spanish, level 1 and 2, Heritage Native Speakers. The title is En Voz Alta by Carnegie Learning, edition the 2020, also approved at the Secondary Curriculum Council.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, need a motion, please.
Move.
Motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Gattuso to declare our intent to adopt textbook adoptions, first reading. Oh.
No, it was me.
Lord.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
Oh.
We're just sitting by each other and we're starting to sound out.
Lori's very quiet tonight.
That's why sometimes I have to ask who it is. All right, so it was right. Okay, so the motion in a second was correct. So, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? and is done. Thank you. Those will all come back to us next month in the consent calendar for final approval. On to employee and volunteer appreciation resolutions, 05-24 to 07-24. And that's Dr. Marshall.
You have copies of the resolutions in your packet. It's recommended that the board adopt resolutions 05-24, National Volunteer Week. Number 6, 24, Day of the Teacher. And number 7-24, Classified Employees Week. And they're all in your packets.
All right, any questions, comments? Motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by member Munoz, seconded by member Lieb to adopt the resolutions 0-24 through 0. I'm tired, can you tell? 05-24 through 07-24. It is a roll call vote. Tina, please.
Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Valadao? Mr. Pereira?
Yes,
Thank
it is
you.
approved unanimously. On to item 10, consent calendar. Are there any pools? All right, seeing none, need a motion, please?
Second.
We got a motion by member Valadao, seconded by member Lieb to approve the consent calendar as presented. It is a roll call vote. Tina?
Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Valadao? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, reporting out of closed session actions. Item C1, student discipline cases number 5517914 is expelled for the remainder of the school year. Expulsion case number 551, excuse me, I got it backwards. Can you tell me I'm tired? Expulsion, let me start all over again. Expulsion case number 5515867 is expelled for the remainder of the school year. Expulsion case number 5517914 is expelled until December 31st, 2024. Motion was by Munoz, seconded by Smith. There were 6 ayes, no noes, no abstentions, and 1 absent, which was Moran. Item C2, a claim against the district. That claim was denied. Motion by member Valadao, seconded by member Lieb. There were 6 yeses, no nos, and 1 absent was Moran. On to item C3, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment. In closed session, the board took action to issue a notice of release to 13 certificated employees working under a temporary contract with the district pursuant to Education Code Section 44954, Section B, effective at the end of the 2023-2024 school year, and directed the superintendent or his designee to issue all appropriate legal notices. The roll call vote is as follows. The motion was by Valadao, seconded by Gattuso. 7 ayes, no nos, no abstentions, and no absences. And that is all of the action items in closed session. Next item is discussion information and future agenda items. Does anybody have anything tonight? All right. Next one is closed session if necessary, and it is not necessary. We finished everything in closed session. So it is now 10:01. And under our bylaws, we have to have this board meeting finished by 10 o'clock, and we did pretty good job. So it is 10:01 and we are adjourned. Good night, everybody. Safe travels home. Thank you very much.